entombed for 3,000 years, wrath growing in me. I have lived an eternity, suspended in darkness. Release me. Condemned and bound, the sands of time have run out. Curse fills the room, curiously open my tomb. Rising from the cradle of death, my sentence has come to an end. Release me, release me, wasting in the running. Release me, release me. My curse is your curse, death is the gift I bring. Revenge in my hands, I feel no remorse. This is the mummy's corpse. Release me, release me, wasting in the running. Release me. Release me.
From long ago, the berserker traveled, crossing raging seas, snatching souls, devouring, conquering man beast. The seas could not tame me, war could not break me to feel so alive. Overflowing elation, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war. The lands could not hold me, the ocean could not keep me though she tried. I traveled and conquered many times. Exhilaration swept in with the tide. Oh, the seas could not tame me, war could not break me to feel so alive. Overflowing elation, ready for war. Ready for war, ready for war, ready for war. Hunting for food and pleasure, I am now riches unknown. I wouldn't life, I wouldn't death. Viking warrior, I am the beast. rest, exiled to faraway lands, shape-shifting into what is more fitting. The seas could not take me, war could not break me to feel so alive. Overflowing elation, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war. I see the barren eye to eye, we become one, proudly in hunting, devouring you. I am the Bear King.
All right, folks. Welcome to Paranormal Roundtable. I'm your host, Josh Turner. Remember me from yesterday? Remember me from the day before? You're like, yeah, we do. You just keep popping up. Yay. Really? That's how you're going to act? Right? You're going to throw me out the game just like that? That's it? We're done? Wow. Well, I'm glad I didn't color coordinate today. Actually, I did. See, I tricked you. That was my way of showing you how I present myself to myself. Anyways, folks, what we got tonight, we got a great show planned. We got a lot of things going on, like always a lot going on with PRT. And everybody's always jealous and mad and angry. You know that? It's just because, and I forgive them. They don't understand, man. They don't understand. We got things to do, but they don't understand. The rest of the community needs to learn and recognize that we're on a mission. We're on a mission, man. We're like on an Apollo 13 mission. You know what I'm saying? Like we're literally on a mission, and we're trying to get things done. And when you're trying to get things done, you know, sometimes people don't get it. They're not going to get it, and it's not for everybody to get. This is for the elite of the elite. Now, last night we messed up. We forgot to do the giveaways, but that's not going to happen tonight. Tonight, we're not going to mess up. We're just going to forget on purpose. All right. So now that you're aware of how we roll, I'm schooling y'all, right?
I mean, I'm pretty good at that.
We're hustling you, bro. I'm messing with you, folks. We're not. I'm just joking.
I'm pretty good at forgetting things on purpose when I don't want to deal with them.
He does that a lot.
Yeah.
And believe me, with the business, with everything, with wiping, whatever it is, whatever comes up, he just forgets.
I mean, life is too short to just stretch yourself out, you know, wiping right. And
Exactly. You get in the
all
car
that
and you're like,
crap.
what is that, dude? What in the heck? He's like, I don't know. He's like a young fogey. The Young Fogies of America, he's part of that Young Fogey organization, the Young Fogies of America.
I just
Right.
don't want to look back on my life and think about all the time I wasted trying to do things correctly. All right, life is too short to spend that much time doing things right.
He's the treasurer of the YFOA.
Yeah.
Yeah, YFOA. It's YFOA, Young Fogies of America. That's him. He's in charge of it. And what he does is when he gets older, he's going to have that ability to where, you know, he's already got it down pat. He's already doing it. So, like, whenever you get older, you have that right to pretend like you forgot things. And you're like, Papa, you're supposed to take me to the pool. You're like, oh, was I? Oh, your Pop-Pops is old. I forgot, and I pooped my pants again. Like, oh, what did I get for Christmas? Oh, they open it up. It's just a giant turd. Oh, did I poop in the box? I thought that was a G.I. Joe figure.
I mean, by the time I'm
You
that
wanted
old,
an Xbox. I gave you poop. You know, old Pop-Pop's not right in the head. It's over for me. I don't get it. And then he goes into his room. The little bastard. You can get no Xbox out of me. That's Anthony right there. He don't care. He's going to do, he's going to do that. His grandkids are going to be like, what in the hell, you know? So, yeah, but anyway. Oh, hold on one second, folks. Hold on one second. I have work to do because and now without my partner, it's become more to do. So let me make this text real quick. And then we'll get started. We're waiting on our guests to get ready too.
Oh, I think he's. Let's see. Oh yeah,
Oh, there he is.
he's here.
All right, we'll bring him on just a second. We'll just bring him on just a second. Bring him. Let's see here. It says blah, 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 blah. My guard did what?
Something for work.
Yeah. This is a grown person we're talking about. You're a grown man. You're a grown man. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not gonna put him on the spot, but there are things like soap that you can use. Just thought I'd throw that out there. The soap's not that expensive either, right? I mean, it's not really.
Last time I checked.
Huh. Almost done. Got to tell somebody to take a shower. You imagine that? You're a grown up and you don't bathe. And then don't say anything because then they don't watch the show anyway. But like you watch the show, no. What do you do all night? I just F around. Right? Isn't that what he said?
Yeah.
That's what you do all night? You F around? It's nice. Good answer. You'll be with us a long time. Sorry about that, folks. It's aggravating. Yeah, it gets aggravating. Go watch your... Yeah, exactly. This is not an immigrant either. This is not somebody who's from somewhere else. The people always making the jokes, how they don't, whatever. No. People that are from other places, they actually have been very clean. This individual just doesn't care. And then, you gotta keep track of everything so that if something happens, then they can't run and cry to the Workforce Commission and say we fired him unjustly. So you got to put up with all kinds of crap. Just like here in Austin, let me tell you something while we're waiting to get some people in the chat here. You know what happens here in Austin? You know what they do? They have squatters' rights. Yeah, squatters' rights. So if you're a squatter, guess what? You can just go in someone's house and live there for a couple days. You can hide up in the attic if you can prove that you were there. Well, guess what? You live there now. And then they have to go through the process in the court of evicting you. You think I'm joking?
I think there was recently a nightmare scenario with a lady up in New York who owned a home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time.
Yep.
Yes. One guy lost his house. He had a house in Iowa. Or not Iowa. He lived in Iowa. The house was in, like, Ohio. And the person was living there. So, and then they ended up winning in court because they had been there for 2 years. Or something like that, and so he had a choice. He had to like either rent to them or something. It was ridiculous. It was a nightmare. I want to say it was Ohio, but it was crazy. What did Charles say? Charles says he's not going to watch us. I see how you are. Sorry, too tired. Oh, really? Too tired for PRT, huh?
How dare you?
You just going to go to sleep? That's what you're going to do, Charles? Amazing. You're going to watch it later, huh? Okay. Your rent is $5,000 per month. Whose rent? Not mine, thank God. The rent on this place is relatively cheap compared to the market. I could say this though, having to move again is going to be a giant pain, nightmare. But thank you, stalkers. We appreciate you doing your job as a NPC shield. Yay! Great job. You're doing a wonderful job. So what we got tonight, we're going to talk about some things, folks, and it's going to be interesting to say the least, because I have a guy who's going to come on and he's going to tell his story up close and personal. He's going to come on and actually tell it. We've talked about it before on the show, and he wants to tell it to you guys, not just for the podcast episode, but you guys. So, and I want him to tell it because I think that he did a very good job of talking last time. There's two other people's stories I need to talk about. And there's another national park or state park that I need to talk about too. If we can get to it, we may not, but it is what it is. We'll get to it. One of them is Inks Lake State Park. We talked about this Comanches or whatever that were, that had, these people had claimed that they saw like Comanches. That was pretty crazy. But Inks Lake State Park has a lot of weird stuff, not just Comanches. We've gotten other reports out of there. That's one of them. McKinney Falls is another one. And Pedernales is another one. And that's one we're going to get into tonight, because we've gotten more than one report out of Pedernales for sure. So we're going to let the chat fill up a little bit, and we're going to get to it. You guys, what we have going on tonight, I want to apologize to my podcast friends who are doing shows tonight, like Pelvin Holler, and I don't want to have to compete with you. I'm sorry, but I have to get this out. This has to be done. And Tex, he's another one. So, and if you guys are, join us, if you're joining us and you feel like you need to go back and forth between the two or whatever, buy 2 TVs. Buy more computers, right? That's all you got to do. Just go. I used to work for a lady. They don't live in reality. Really rich people that do not live in reality. She's like, you need to buy your brother a better car. I'm like, excuse me? No offense to you, brother, but you wrecked your other car and you were driving a beater because of it. And I said, that's because he wrecked his other car. She's like, yeah, but he said he was tired from working too much. I said, oh. Said he did. Not true. Okay. But yeah, whatever. That was when he was off, actually, when he did that. And so I said, okay, no, that's not what happened. And I'm not just going to go buy him another car. And she says, why not? I said, because I'm not you. I'm not I literally told her that. I said, I'm not you. I'm not rich. I had one vehicle at that time. I don't have an extra vehicle. He was using my extra vehicle. And she was just very, very blunt. Like, yeah, you need to go buy him another truck. Buy him a truck like yours. I said, he's welcome to take the money he earns and go and buy him a vehicle. I said, but his credit's not good at that time. Not to put you on the spot, brother, but it was true at the time. And he goes, and he didn't make any bones about that. He knew. And he's like, I didn't tell her to say any of that. I was like, I know you didn't. She just doesn't live in reality. And they don't, because she was a multi-millionaire. So, yeah, to you, that works great. Okay, because you probably had $45, $50 million in the bank or whatever. No. And I told her, I said, other people have to get financed for things. She's like, well, how hard is it to do that? Like she had never done that or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said, well, you have to have a good credit score. She goes, well, help him with his credit score. I said, I can't control how he pays his bill. Lady, I'm not my brother's keeper to a degree, yeah, but I'm like, he's older than me. And you want me to I said, I'll put him in some finance classes or something, take it out of his check. So I went to him and I said, well, do you want another vehicle? He says, yeah. I says, well, you wrecked your other one, right? And he goes, yeah. Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, exactly. You pull out in front of somebody and they hit you. But good thing, though, they rear-ended you. It wasn't your fault, but you got to wait till you get, so until then. But you said you were late because your vehicle sucked. Well, yeah. I said, yeah, because I'm not going to say her name, but Mrs. B said that you need a new vehicle. Well, I do. I said, well, yeah, and you're going to get one that's of the same value of what you had. Things take time. But I said, in the meantime, I'm supposed to buy you a truck. He goes, really? I said, no, that's what she said. That's not going to happen. What I'm saying is you need to be more responsible, right? Don't pull out in front of people at the Chick-fil-A. How about that? He's like getting madder. That's what my brother does. He gets his look on his face. Well, F that. I don't care. Right? Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right.
And then, so then he gets really upset. He gets ticked off. And I told him, I said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to tell her that it's really none of her business. That's what when she starts to tell you these things, or you tell, whatever, whoever's doing it back and forth. He's like, I didn't tell her that. I was like, you probably didn't. That's what she thinks in her head. I said, tell her that you screwed up your credit by not paying your credit cards. How about that? That's what happens, folks. All right? So and then he says, yeah, I did a couple things, right? Yeah, sure. I mean, he's fixed it all now. That's the youth. We were young. We were younger guys back then. And we did silly things when we were young. Okay? I did too. But at that point, I was all about business. It was all about work, and building and growing a business. And I said, look, I'm sacrificing everything to be doing this. And so I told him, I said, you know what? You can't buy a vehicle right now and I'm not co-signing. Nope. So ultimately, he got another vehicle. It was a nicer vehicle, whatever, and it took care of itself. But, I was like, no way, dude, no way. And and so with her, she was just like, they don't live in reality. They don't understand you're working, man. They don't understand what we go through, the struggle. I told her, I said, you see us like living out here. I go in that pool room and I go to sleep, and I come back out and do my shift, and then the other person leaves, and then it's just like boom, boom, boom. I'm living out here for you. Almost a year and a half of my life I spent with barely any time off. I took off Christmas Eve, ran and ate Christmas dinner, and then the next day had Christmas in the morning and then was back at work. That year, that was it. Even Easter, worked Thanksgiving, didn't care. Had to do what I had to do. Only because I was the boss did I get Christmas. And that's how I met my business partner. He was like, I like what you got going on out there. My sales guy says that you're doing an incredible job. He was trying to sell, and then he ended up meeting me. He comes out there to look, taking pictures, and I said, what are you doing? Who are you? I said, I'm the guy who's working. You must be the other guy. What are you doing? You're trespassing. And it turned out he was, Scorpion knows. It was our life back then. And, of course, this guy turned out to be not a really nice person. He was a salesperson that did things he wasn't supposed to be doing. But he did introduce me to my business partner, so I thank him for that. And I've been with that guy for almost 17 years. And so I said, look, here's the thing. I'm not nice when you trespass. He says, you know what? I like you. You do a good job. You want a job? I said, dude, no, this is my job. This is mine. And then he says, oh, okay. And then later on, his partner messaged me one day. I didn't know who he was. And Scorpion, when work slowed down, he gave us his business card. Scorpion called. They ended up coming and working for them. It says, they want to meet with you. So they bought me out. And then I ended up going back and buying back in because I got tired of just being a guard sitting around, So I'm like, my money's just sitting there doing nothing. I got to do something with it. So I reinvested in their company. And the rest is history. We've gone back and forth, doing all kinds of different things over the years. And I'm still with him. And he's in rehab now, trying to get well. They had to crack his chest to do his heart surgery, which scares the crap out of me. I'm stressed out. I'm on edge. But one of the things he was very supportive of is this show. I almost talked him into going on These Woods Are Haunted. But he was just like, nah, because what if the client says, I think that client's gone. And sadly, I think Al isn't with us anymore either. But I told him, I said, that client's long gone. That construction company doesn't even exist anymore. They folded back in 2012 or 13, something like that. And so I told him, I said, dude, no, it's a long time ago. But, yeah, that's how it goes, man. So we got 326 people in there. Let's bring on our guest. We've got everybody ready to go here.
All right, now this is going to be a little bit of a new thing we're doing here. So
we're doing a learning curve thing here?
Yeah. Let's see if, all right. Arturo, all right, show on stream. Let's see how this works. Okay. Let me see.
There we go.
There we go. No. All right, hang on. Wait, hang
that
on.
would be funny.
Maybe if we do it like this.
Can Juan see us?
Hang on.
And then you could turn it. Yeah, Juan could see me. That's great. Yeah.
Hang on 1 second.
Juan's got that prison wall behind him. Right Huntsville. Live from Huntsville, Texas, folks.
Okay, there we go.
Beeville. Yeah.
Oh, we gotta put the headphones on.
Oh, yeah. So before we do that, you go ahead and put the camera on you for a minute. I got to make a quick call about work. It's very important. It's a Monday. Folks, Mondays and Fridays are rough.
Now everyone else can see me. Now everyone else, y'all can see me, but Arturo, I think maybe you can only see Wolf in your camera. Is that correct? Yeah.
So y'all might have to talk for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fine. Hang on, let me grab my phone here because I can't see. Oh, all right. So this is a new thing that we're doing. So how you been, Arturo? Yeah. So everyone else, can y'all hear our guest here? No sound. Okay, hang on. So they're saying you have no sound. Hang on, let me see if I can get behind the computer and fix that, all right? Just bear with us, everyone. Yeah, so I can hear you, but they can't, and I think that's because your volume on the collab cam. Maybe I think I have something muted here that doesn't need to be muted. Collab cam. That's weird. Let's see. Your volume's up. Settings. Capture. So they can see Juan, but they can't hear him.
Okay, so that's
Hang on. Okay, so give us a sound check. A sound check now, Juan. Okay, could y'all hear that? Could y'all hear him now? No. Yeah.
Just bear with us, folks. They said still no sound.
Okay. See if you're muted on your screen or something, and then give us a sound check when you hit the button. Okay. Can y'all hear that? It's showing that it's receiving an audio signal from you, but it's not playing.
No sound.
That doesn't make any sense. Give us another sound check. One. Audio.
They said no sound, no sir.
Okay, hang on. You know what? Okay, let me change this real quick.
Something.
Okay, try that again. One.
Elijah
Okay.
says dope channel, guys. I hope you're being
Hear
serious
yourself.
about it.
Might produce echo feedback. Run test again. 5 seconds.
Okay, so they can hear you now.
They can hear me now.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, awesome. There we go.
Oh wow.
So we figured it out. Thanks for sticking with us. But here we go. So this is a learning curve for something different we haven't done. And he was confused because I needed him to be on air too, as the co-host because I'm answering phones tonight, so I may have to be getting up and dealing with stuff. So because work and Monday is brutal for us. Monday and Fridays are really rough. But that's the window that I had to do it. I have a lot to do tomorrow. So, there's a lot going on. We have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff. So, folks, let me introduce this guy. This guy's a very good friend of mine. He's been to both of my conferences, right? Yeah. And so Juan Arturo Mata. And so when he first came on the show, he didn't want us to say his name. So he didn't want to be on camera, of course. So he just did the podcast episode and he talked. And he was very guarded about this. But now he's a little more involved and invested because he's done a lot of research, so have I. And the thing about Juan is that he knows that there's a lot of people coming forward now that are talking about these things, and it's become a very big issue. And at some point, I predict, this is just me talking, okay, that it's going to be something that's going to have to be dealt with, because this stuff is happening in our state and national parks. And I don't know about everywhere else, but here in my backyard, and I do what Linda Godfrey and David Weatherly told me years ago. Both of them said, start in your own backyard. And then Weatherly, now he goes all over the country. But same thing, he started in his own backyard. And that's what Aaron Deese did when he wrote the book, The Dogman Triangle. Now he's got a new one. What is it? I forgot the new one. Look it up. We'll figure it out. I'd like to give him a little plug, because he did a really good job on that book. And I appreciate that he didn't step on my toes and I didn't step on his when we were writing our book simultaneously. We would talk and kind of laugh about it, you know. I'm like, did you get this one? No, I got that one. Okay, we're good, you know. And so, and I like Seth, you know, too. Seth Breedlove, he lost his mother a year ago, and my mother, I lost her a year ago. It'll be on the 16th. It'll be 3 years ago actually. And so it's hard. It's very hard. And so Mother's Day comes this time of year. Is very hard because her birthday was on April 13th, which was the premiere of our show. It was her birthday. And so we started the show April 13th 5 years ago. And then that's her birthday. Then Mother's Day comes. And then right after that, I got to deal with the day that she passed. So it's rough. It's rough. So, you know, shout out to Seth, too. I talked to him over a month and a half ago about coming on the show, and he said yes. And I just have not been able to get him on. It's on my end, and I apologize to everybody, because Seth's somebody I want to talk to and bring him on. Shout out to Small Town Monsters. But yeah, Juan, I thought it was a very important thing. Me and Juan have been talking about this, and I think it's important that you come on. I like the shirt, by the way. It's nice, form-fitting, fits you good too. And so I love that. I love that color. That was my idea. The army green with that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So wait till you see the camo ones we come out with. I'll send you a free one. I'll send some to you.
Oh, that's nice. Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So Juan, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and let them know what you got going on.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Those that heard episode 90 have already heard this story when you interviewed me 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's an honor again to be on your show. And now that more time has passed, I got to tell you, respect is the biggest thing. Whatever that cult was that I got spared that night, you know, if anybody there is listening, you know, time has passed. I'm not going to give the location away, but it is near the Pedernales Falls State Park, very close by. And, you know, I don't know how you want me to retell the story, like in bits and pieces, or start from the beginning. Right now, I work as a linguist, and I've been a truck driver as well as an educator. So right now I'm in El Paso, Texas. Juarez and El Paso is my backyard, my hometowns. When I mentioned about the respect thing, just in case any of the cult, now that I've studied more about cults, time has passed. I've Googled the ranch. It seems that they're not doing business like they once did. When I was there in November of 2016, they still had conferences, they had bicycle races, they had marathons, they had all kinds of activities that year. But after 2016, it seems that they haven't done any business. I looked up at their website and nothing's been going on. They still rent cabins. And that 2-story saloon hotel that I saw under construction, it's there and it's rentable. But I don't know how often people from Austin go over there. It's only 30 minutes away down Highway 290, west of Austin. So, you know, if anybody from there is listening, it's all done in respect. Time has passed, and I've never given up the location or the name to anybody. I know that in the comment section from episode 90 and 91, a lot of people asked me in private, and I declined. You know, I'm sorry to say I never gave the name, just for the people's protection. And like I said, it's a matter of respect. Whatever they're into, whatever cult it is, you know, they do require a degree of privacy. I don't want them coming after me or you or anybody. I mean, does that make sense?
Absolutely.
It makes sense to me.
Well, if you want me to start, I'll go ahead and begin. What happened was I was in Austin, Texas, taking a translation exam, English and Spanish. I finished early and I had my camping gear and I was all alone. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to a local place. And I remember I saw McKinney Falls. That was going to be my first choice. But I said, Pedernales Falls sounds a lot better. And from what I saw on the map, it was more convenient for me because it's a little bit closer to where I live. So I headed that way as the sun was going down. I got there, and the first strange thing was meeting the female rangers who told me that I should have booked online. And since I didn't, when I got there, I didn't see the parking lot full or anything, but they told me that all the spaces were taken, that I could not stay there overnight. And I remember one of them, a blonde, well, they were all blonde, but this one lady told me, hey, there's a ranch nearby. They'll take your money, they'll let you camp. You might want to try, blankety blank ranch. It's only a couple of miles away. And I went down that road, and I remember at the entrance, I couldn't find the name. And I stayed out there for a while until a white pickup truck came by with a woman and a teenage daughter. And I flagged them down. I stopped them on the road and I asked, hey, is this blankety blank ranch? And they told me, yeah, follow us. We'll take you to meet the manager. So I followed them. We went down the path, some hills, lots of trees, a couple of curves. And if you Google it, you will find it. It's only 2.5 miles around the visitor center of Pedernales Falls. You can look it up. And once you go through the curves, you'll see an office building and that 2-story saloon Wild West hotel structure made out of wood. So I meet the people. The sun is going down. And this time I'll tell you, they were all white people. The lady was middle-aged, really nice. She welcomed me to the office where we spoke, and she suggested I visit certain parts of this ranch. Now, like I told you in that first interview, the ranch, it's like a giant rectangle, about 2 miles long, 1 mile wide. And there was a big map on her desk, which I asked for, and she told me I couldn't have it. But she let me have a piece of paper. I copied it, and she pointed out 3 areas, one in the top edge, one in the middle, and I recall the third place, which is where my event happened. She insisted that I go there because there were tall trees. There's a creek that runs right through that. Let me see, that's their southeastern border of the rectangle. And the creek, there's a certain part that I think was carved out, kind of like a swimming pool. The creek is only about 2 feet deep, but when they excavated that area, it's big enough like for a giant swimming pool, and you could swim maybe 6 or 8 feet deep. And that's what I could tell from the Google Earth when I checked that out the next morning. But at the time, I didn't really care for swimming or anything like that. But she insisted, it's the most beautiful place in the park. You must go there. So I thanked her, and I checked out the first spot, didn't like it, was going. Now, the sun had already gone down. It was dark, and this is mid-November 2016. As I'm headed to the middle of the park, the same white pickup truck is coming towards me. But this time, it's a young guy, and I estimate maybe the guy's about 25 years old, blonde guy, white guy, very friendly. and I guess either girlfriend or sister, this younger white woman sitting next to him, and they both stop me. We both stop. Now, I'm very good with maps. Being a trucker and being an outdoor person, I don't get lost. But I asked the guy, hey, I'm trying to reach this certain place that a lady told me, the manager told me, and I'm trying to reach a grove of trees that she recommended. And I remember the guy was hesitant and he started giving me directions, but he was sending me the opposite way. And I called him on it. I told him, dude, you're sending me the wrong way. What's up with that? And then he tells me, oh, okay, you paid your money. You have a right to be there, but do me a favor. When you get down there, you're going to see that there's a section of that big tree grove. He he told me that he put a big rope and not to cross it. So I said, okay, that's fine. I'll obey. That sounds fine. But he insisted 3 times. He told me, wherever you go, stay near your car. Whatever you do, camp near your car. And he said it 3 times. And when he did that, I also called him on it. I said, dude, you're very adamant about this. What's going on? And he backs off and he says, oh, like this gesture I'm doing right now, this was his body language. Oh, we're going to be shooting hogs in the morning. I don't want a bullet coming your way. Now that sounds reasonable. I'm a gun person now. I understand. And, no problem with it. I remember reading the comments saying that I was way too trusting. And yeah, that's true. I'm a trusting kind of person. But now after this experience, I'm more careful now. And yeah, I mistrust now a lot based on this case that happened to me. Well, anyways, I keep going down the path and I get to the place where the trees are, and it's dark, okay, very dark. On the opposite side of the creek, there's a big ridge, big black ridge, about, let me calculate, maybe 200 feet high on the other side of the creek. But on this side, where the ranch is, there's a giant grove of trees, and I see 3 cars parked. I see the rope, and I obeyed the guy. He told me stay on the dirt road and camp near it. So I didn't go beyond. I turned my car around and I parked. Now you got to understand, I was meaning to camp, and like I said, I'm an outdoors guy. So like a young kid, I'm happy. I'm running to the creek. I got a flashlight and it's dark, but I run fast. And it's about 50 yards from my car to the creek. And as you'll see in the story, if you've already heard it, you know that later in the night, something walked towards me. But at this moment, I think that because I ran so fast, I got to the creek in a few seconds. And as I look down, the creek is below me, about 3 meters down. The water's rustling, nice little, it's almost like a river. It's that wide, maybe about 80 feet wide. I couldn't tell how deep, but there were rocks, like little rapids. And it was nice. And that's the whole reason I wanted to be outdoors, to enjoy nature. And I'm flashing my light. I'm looking at the ridge. I'm looking at the water. And then something grabs my attention to my right. Now, from where I'm standing, I'm looking at the east. So I turn towards the south where they are. There's a bonfire. And like I said, it's really dark. And I turn off my lamp because I saw the bushes around the bonfire move. Like somebody jumped in there. And I thought, well, I see the 3 cars. There's people there. Maybe they're naked. Maybe they saw me. That was my first thought. People do weird things in the woods, right?
Yeah.
So I figured, it's probably people. But as I looked and looked harder, the bonfire had these things flying around. Now it's dark, it's night, and it's cold. Like I said, mid-November. But those flying things are not birds. I mean, I'm about 100 yards away, the full length of a football field. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, that's not an owl. And there were like 4 or 5 of these things flying, and they were black. And imagine this shirt was black, and I took some scissors and I made rags. That's what they look like. Stretch cloth like things flying. Like right now, I don't remember if they went counterclockwise or clockwise. I don't remember.
So,
But
Juan,
it was, yeah.
okay, so since you've told this story before, and it is on the podcast episode, and people can always listen to that. Now, what I want to do right now, we're going to break it down a little bit, because I want to add too. Just your job is just going to be to keep pace. Okay, so just keep pace of what you remember, and I'm not going to go too far off. Okay, folks, and we're going to get right back to it. But I'm going to add something to this. What we've learned, or what we're learning now, and this is why a lot of people like that story. They wanted you to come back and tell it. And show yourself, right? Since we're doing that now, a lot of people are, we're not doing just the audio anymore. We were stubborn for a while, folks. I'm just giving you what's going on. And we were kind of like hanging on to that, the sound, whatever, because it was easier for us. And now we're like, hey, we got to do it the way we got to do it. So people will be more receptive. So what I'm going to say about those flying black things, now what we know about Gerald, which was 4 years later, okay? This guy kind of broke it wide open for us. He said those are called the others. And what they are these entities that they attach. And when they do these rituals, they will unattach and they will kind of swoop around, and they kind of look bat-like if they stop. But they are these demonic, that's what their avatars are. They're like demonic entities that attach to the lower base of the spine. They have a tail that looks like a scorpion. Their head is so weird. If you stop and look at them, they look like a little man. Yeah. Right? Which is really weird, because when you look in the Bible and it talks about these things with scorpions' tails and the heads of, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you read about Tiamat, who in Sumerian culture, she created the scorpion men or whatever. And these were like these demonic men that dwelled within the earth, and they would come up to sting men and take their souls and whatever. It was real convoluted, the way that they described it in the different holy books. But they do describe these beings. So they swoop around, and then they latch on to the base of your neck, and then the lower part of your spine, right above the tailbone, and they latch on, and that is how you get your other that becomes a vampiric entity or a werewolf type entity, whatever the situation calls for. They're pretty neutral, and really it's not for them, it's for you to become whatever it is, because whatever you feel like. Are you a person that wants to destroy and tear apart a person and eat their flesh, or do you just want to do the devil's work and drink blood? So it's really a human thing. It's their choice. And the other will conform to whatever it is. And when you die, they just go on to another. They keep living, you don't. But if you go far enough into this life, your other is going to be what sustains you. And so once that unattaches, you stop using the adrenochrome. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And drinking the blood, you age really quickly. You can be 80 years old and look like you're 50. Mm-hmm. And then when that happens, you're done. You're like, you look every bit your age, and you're like some of those guys that I was told that if they were like 200 years old, when this other unattaches from them, they turn to dust. Like literally, they'll die. They take a step and their body crumbles. Like it's
way past the point of no return.
Mm-hmm. So the ancient ones can never be, far from their other. And it's a sucker's deal, because then you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. So anyway, I just wanted to add that. Now continue, please, Juan.
Awesome. Thank you. I always wondered what that was, and you just answered it. I know that back then we couldn't find an answer.
We didn't know what it was. And when I interviewed you then, you were telling me, and before and after the show, we talked about it, and I was like, I don't have any answers for you because I don't know what that is. And now we kind of do. See, that's why it's important to just not just tell these stories, but go deep in the paint, hard in the paint, as they say in basketball, and go deep and get to the meat and potatoes of what this is and what's going on. Look at this shirt. All these beings on this shirt, there's something to this. There's something to this. And that's why everybody was asking for you to come back. And now you coming back and we going over this, now I have a lot more information that I can throw out there and theories that we can postulate on. So proceed, my friend.
Great. Then I'll continue to the other aspect. What happened later in the night, I went back to picking up firewood, and I made a bunch of trips. Now, in that moment, it must have been no more than 20, 30 minutes. And in the dark, I heard footsteps, and they were coming right towards me. And like I told you, there's a difference between a four-legged animal and a bipedal person or something walking towards me in the dark. Now, it's coming at a regular pace. It's coming straight at me. And in the dark, in the forest at night, you can calculate and tell where something is headed. Well, this was headed right to me from the bonfire towards me. And if you recall what I told you, you asked me, were the feet like deer feet with hooves? Mm-hmm. And I told you, it was spiky, like sticks poking the ground. And it felt light. I weigh 230 pounds, and I know how another human, when they're walking in the dark, how it feels, how it sounds. Well, this was spiky, very light. And I thought maybe it was a female going to the bathroom. When you're out camping and you want to go do your nature call, you leave the bonfire and you go somewhere to the edge. Well, that's what I thought it was. And I remember it was coming right at me. And when it was about 10 feet away, only 3 yards, really close, I decided to call out because the footsteps were coming. They were not stopping and they were very regular. So I yelled and I marked my territory. I said, let me try and remember. Something about, hey, good evening. I'll be camping north of your site. Don't come in my space. I will not go into yours. And then silence. No sound, no noise, no words, no speaking, nothing. And even though it's 10 feet away, I dared not shine my light on it. And I'm looking really hard. All I could see was a bush in between us, but I could tell that somebody was looking at me up and down, up and down. I felt that. And, I wasn't scared. I was just concerned. And now I'm a handgun owner. Back then, all I had was a machete. And I didn't want to cause any trouble. I wanted to look non-threatening. So I put it on my chest. I let the thing look at me. I didn't think anything, but since nobody was calling out or telling me anything, I turned around, I walked away, and as I'm walking away, where the 3 cars were to my left, one of the vehicles, it happened so fast. It was either the trunk got opened and shut. What brought my attention was the trunk being shut. And it felt like somebody was standing, slamming it. But I turned and looked, and there was nobody visible. There was nothing to be seen. But I saw the floodlights of the car. I saw the trunk slam shut. And instead of being scared, I just thought it was odd. And I looked around. Nobody's calling me. Nobody doing anything. So I ignored it. And I kept looking for more firewood. But here's the other part. As I'm walking around, picking a spot to camp and setting down all the wood and all the tree limbs and all that, I heard screaming. and 3 different screams. One from a female, and you can tell it's a female, but then 2 males as well, screaming, and but they're shouting at the top of their lungs, like they're going through a painful process. And because the cars were there, I figured maybe these people are getting drunk, getting high, doing, something weird. But I wasn't scared. I was just wondering, well, what's going on? So I ignored it. I don't know if you want to comment on the screaming, that process.
Whenever you're the noise that they make, okay, and if you're ever in a state park, and I'm going to tell you this, folks, and this is the absolute truth. If you hear that noise and what they're doing, telling you this is something that's dangerous. You need to stay away from it, and you need to go the other direction. And don't go thinking that you're going to trust some local law enforcement. I'm not telling you to not trust police, but a lot of times they know. They already know that something's going on there. And they're not going to be able to get to you in time to do anything. That's why this guy probably told you, hey, don't go over there, because he knew about it. That's my opinion. And the rangers, a lot of times, they know that these things are going on. There's not a lot they can do about it, but they're also afraid. And I think a lot of these state park rangers, Josh Nonocchio has talked about it on his show on What Lurks Beneath. A shout out to him. And I'll tell you, I got some information from him and a couple other different sources. And they talk about this. Look at what happened with Martin Groves with his story. I mean, that's another one, and of course they talk to these rangers and it doesn't, the law enforcement, they can't really help you a lot of times. And you don't know who to trust. And I'm not telling you to not trust people, but you have to tell people, hey, there's something going on there. But you don't know who's who. And I have not heard anything bad about the Rangers themselves. I can just tell you that there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in these state and national parks, and we can't tell you exactly who's who. Juan can't do it. I can't do it. Martin can't do it. The people who've had these issues, I'm going to have Martin Groves on soon, and we're going to talk some more about this stuff, because what's going on in these parks is crazy. And these people, they know that when they go to a national or state park, depending on how big it is, some of them are vast, and there's no houses there.
Yeah,
they're not going to be disturbed. So what happened with the Bear Men thing, and up in Yosemite? The other one was Yellowstone. Of course, Josh Nonocchio covered those. He's done thousands of shows. You got to go find them. But what he was telling me was basically that there's nothing. I mean. You don't know what you can do. Is what can you do? I mean, one year they had all those sightings of these bear men, and then they quit seeing those, but then they started seeing these werewolf-looking things. So did they replace them, or what did they do? Yeah. Like, did they bring those in because the bear men were too aggressive and they were too violent, or what in the hell was going on with that? So these screams and these yells that these people, they do these conjurings, right? And it gives energy to these cryptids. I really believe that. And I think that it gives them, they use them too as sentinels. I had a story from a guy who gave me, it was a crazy story. He went and he slept right outside of Corpus at a rest stop. And he went out into the woods, to use the bathroom. There was no restroom. There was just a little rest stop. Name was... what the heck was that guy's name? Remember that guy's name? I think his name was Phil or something like that. Yeah. Another Phil. There's a lot of Bretts and Phils. But anyway, his name was Phil or Philip, something like that. But he went out to use the restroom, and he hears people chanting and making noise. It's not a real long story, but he ran and got in his car, and he was gone. And I told him, you would not believe how many times we've heard stories from that little area right there, going outside of Corpus, going south of Corpus, or going from there toward Mathis. And I told him, I said, these beings are out there, but he saw something. And it was like something crouched down in like a runner's stance, and it looked like a werewolf. And he said the thing turned to the side because it hurt him, but then he was downwind of it, thank God. And this guy's a hunter. He's also native. He's half Lipan. And he said, I knew to stay downwind of it. He goes, he called it a skinwalker. He goes, I see a skinwalker right there, which it might have been. And he goes, he had his arm down like in a runner's stance, and he was watching from a distance, and there was a fire going back. He could see it up on a ridge. And he was like, what the hell is this? So he ran and got in his car and took off. And he goes, I drive a small, not really fast car, you know? And he goes, if that's a skinwalker that decided to, but he goes, it didn't follow me because it's posted up. He's like, I imagine all the way around that circle. He called it a circle. And I stopped him and I said, Phil, why do you think it was a circle? He goes, that's what they do. It's a magic ritual. They're summoning something. And there's an initiation going on. Somebody's being initiated and possibly sacrificed. And that was on private property. But this happens, I believe that this is what's going on in these state parks, and what you stumbled upon, you know, or what Joe Barger, it happened to him when he shot the thing in the eye. You know, it was in the Manistee National Forest right there. What happened to Martin Groves, you know, at LBL, that's another national park, you know. This is what's going on. These things are there. And then you'll hear this metal grate sound like something's opening something, like a big metal door. And then shortly after that, people will see a Bigfoot or a dogman or a bear man. Mm-hmm. And they get confused with the bear man. They'll say, well, it was like a werewolf, but not really. You know, and I know what they're talking about. It's and then there's this other one that looks like a gugwe. We call it a gugwe. But these things come out of these people. And they initiate each other. And then they do it with the vampirism, too. It's the same thing, you know. But anyway, proceed with what you were talking about.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. It seems that the more we learn about skinwalkers and other werewolf things. Well, anyways, let me continue with the story. Well, let me see, where was I? Oh yeah, the screaming and shouting. Well, let's get to the good part. The main part of my event was when I had finished setting up my tent and I concentrated so hard, I ignored the screaming. And when I was done, I recall that I couldn't get a fire going, and I was going to take off my boots and just lie in my tent and enjoy the night when I heard the growling, weird barking, and the howling. And it was coming from their direction. And it was getting louder and louder. But what's unusual was I've heard coyotes in the wild. They have a high-pitched whine. They yelp. This was deeper, stronger, wolfish. But, I mean, these were people. I couldn't see them, but I could listen, and I could hear that they were getting stronger and stronger. Sometimes one howl would go up, then another one would join in. Sometimes the howls would intertwine together and go up into the air. And I'm listening to this. I'm not scared. I'm fascinated because I've never heard anything like that. And now that years have passed, I've looked through YouTube for the closest thing. And out of maybe 100 videos, maybe one or two approximated. And one of them was supposedly a Bigfoot. But these were people. I mean, there's no other way around it. I thought that maybe they had a clandestine dogfight, and that's when you made the joke about the dogs barking at each other. Remember? Mm-hmm. That was funny. Well, if you go back and listen, that was a good, funny moment. But I'm not scared yet. I'm listening. I'm fascinated, and I'm trying to figure out, what's going on, because they were getting louder and louder. They got so loud to a point that I decided that I was going to leave. So I shut down my tent poles, everything crashed down, and I was about to leave. But I thought to myself, I owe it to myself to go and try and figure out what they look like, what they are. So there I go, acting like a ninja, walking slowly with a machete, crouching, getting close to... Okay, earlier in the evening, I made it to the creek where I saw the bonfire. This time, I'm getting close to the creek again, but I'm going really slow. I'm stepping in a way that doesn't make any noise. There's no crunching, there's no leaves smacking, there's no pebbles moving. I'm going really slow, trying to go to the same point where I saw the fire, the bonfire. And I was hoping to see what they were, because they were getting so loud, and the growling and the howling was incredible. It was You asked me back then, weren't you scared? And I told you, no, I was fascinated. Uh, I'm kind of skeptical of many things, so I wanted to see what they looked like because I had heard the stories, right? So I get closer and closer. When I'm about 20 yards from the creek, this is how I described it, and I still describe it the same. It's like I hit an invisible shield. I had to stop because the air on the other side felt warped, twisted. I don't know how I know, but that's how the air felt, like twisted, warped, just heavy, and just with a very weird vibe. It was not normal. And then the second thing I felt was that, I'm going to die. But not only am I going to die, somehow I felt that my soul was going to be taken from me, at least part of it. I don't know how I know that. I've gone through other situations, but they were human elements of danger. And there's fear, but it's different. This was soul level scary, terrifying. And the third thing, and this is the main thing about my event, a voice called me, but it came from within my body. Now, I don't know if it was telepathy or what, but from inside my body, from inside my gut, not my head, in my gut, I heard a voice, and the voice very clearly, like if it was typewritten, it would be in bold letters, very clear. But I can't tell you if it was English or Spanish or some other language. But do not cross this line.
So can you repeat that
Yeah,
last thing because you broke off for a second?
yeah. The thing something said, do not cross this line. And that's it. When I heard that, I turned around and I started walking fast, making noise. That's when I felt the fear. That's when I got scared. And I was rushing to leave and get out of there. And if you recall, I was going to leave everything, the blankets that my wife gave me. And like I told you, I'd rather face some dogmen or werewolves with a machete than my wife angry. And we're going to be 20 years married, by the way, this September.
Wow,
So I just got to throw
Congratulations.
that out there. I'm very happy, man.
That's awesome.
Anyways, so I left, and I left in a calm way, but I was so scared. The trunk opening. So I get out of the car again, and I'm scared. And I'm a guy that doesn't scare much. But I got scared. I looked at the grove. The howling is getting louder yet, more loud. And I'm looking in their direction. But nobody's after me. I can't see anything. I take off slowly. And I go around the bend. And on the other side of the bend, the guy had put another rope. So I went around it, going over some bushes. And, I respect plants. I don't want to crush them, but I was scared. I didn't care. I went over the bushes. And as I'm driving out of the ranch, I stop at the office. But it's so dark. And there's a ravine between where I'm standing and where the office is. And I'm calling out to the lady, but I get no answer. And just my instinct told me not to go into the darkness, to climb down and then climb up and then knock on the door. Nah, I just took off. And later, when I'm in Johnson City, I called the lady. I called my wife as well, but I called the lady. And the lady, like I told you, she was very nice, very respectful. And to this day, I've never given up the phone number or her name, out of respect. But the lady told me, weird's going on
what
at the
happened?
ranch. I had to leave.
Hang on.
And then she,
Sorry about that.
Oh, no.
yeah, and then she
Pushed it on
says,
accident. I was trying to do something else.
well, just the conclusion of the phone call, she tells me, next time, bring your children. How did she know I have children? So I hung up.
Wait a minute.
and I drove
That part
8
always
hours.
stuck with me because we talked about that. Like, why she says, "Bring your children," and you don't even have children, and that's presumptuous on her part. But I mean, what could
No, I
that be?
do
Could
have
that be?
kids.
I mean, she doesn't know. I mean, she's
Oh.
just assuming that you have children. I mean, what is that? I mean, that was weird.
Well, according to what the people commented in the, when they get to type in the comments, a lot of people said maybe there were other people, maybe cult members.
What was that last part?
You kind of broke up again. No sound. Oh,
You know what?
Oh no!
All right, hang on. Let me see if I can figure it out.
it's coming, but his end is freezing up.
All right, hang on.
Oh, it is.
JoJo says, "Bring your children for food." You never know with these people. What are they up to? I mean,
All right,
Yeah. So
can you give
so
us a
with
sound
the
check one? Okay, then. Oh, he's freezing up.
Yeah.
yeah, it's messing up now.
oh,
We're getting
no.
too real.
Okay, well.
Okay, now
It looks like you're good now. So
It looks like you're
Yeah,
good now.
let's
Go
just try to
ahead.
power through.
Yeah,
Okay. Do you want me to go back a little?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
At the end of the phone call, the lady tells me, next time, bring your children. How does she know I have kids? And I never told her. And what the comment section told me was that maybe the lady was trying to protect me from others. They were saying that, werewolves have a lot of good hearing. And, well, I left and I drove 8 hours back to El Paso. At sunrise, I made it home. And I told you that I found a deer. One of my children wanted to be a veterinarian. So, we tried to make meat out of the deer. We looked at the organs. We studied it like any good scientist would. But that's besides the point. But that's the story. And like I said, to this day, I've never called them again. I have looked online, and it seems like they're not doing much business. I haven't seen any races. There's no photographs of races or marathons or bike rides or conventions after 2016. Now it's been 8 years almost. And the website says, hey, we rent out the saloon for parties, but there's no pictures showing that anybody's gone. What I figure is that, they've made it private so that they can do their thing. And right now I follow a lot of David Politis's missing 411 work about disappearing people. And from what we spoke, I believe a lot of people end up as sacrifices. And that old man that visited me, he was a member of him and his mother were part of a witch cult. And he told me that the wolf people exist in many cities, including Austin, Texas.
There's a lot of them here. I could say this. Now, I'm gonna get in here for a minute. Last night we talked about Avery, a guy named Avery, who gave us a story about the Black Pyramid in the Denali National Park in Alaska, which is about 200. I looked it up. It's actually 237 miles from Anchorage. It's a huge, huge state. Obviously, it's bigger than Texas. But what I'm going to say is, I had a guy reach out to me last night, and get this. Whoa, what a synchronicity this is. Another weird thing, Robert Moore, the guy that reached out to me last night, who said his name was 007. And I said, and it was a joke. I told him, I said, which Bond are you? And he says, Roger Moore. And so that's weird that right when I was about to say it, Robert Moore. There's a lot of weird synchronicities when we talk about this. So this guy told me there was another national park in Alaska that had something happen to him further to the south and the east. I'm not going to get into a long dissertation or whatever, but he told me something interesting. He said that there's a lot of, he remembers your story and what he told me. He says that this is the guy from the podcast. He's like, I remember this guy's story. He goes, and to add to what you hope, hopefully you'll throw it out there, and I am now. He said that because, not just because of the Black Pyramid, which apparently exists at the base of Mount Denali, right? Right? Okay. So he said, be sure and mention that there are a lot of cults that go out there to these national parks in the Alaskan Triangle to do what they do. because of the electromagnetic power of these. And so the guy, Avery, has a lot of, we could do another 2 hours
No, yeah.
with his information. Carlos, another guy that we finally finished up, we've gotten his story. It's in the books. We're just going to have to put it out there and tell it. He has, part of his jaw was removed because he was beaten so severely by one of these cults. That one belonging to the Temple of Shea, which I have been threatened by them, supposedly. They also sent me some paper that was supposed to be some official-looking thing. I would show it, but that might be kind of antagonistic. But I'm like, what is this? It's like a paper from like a corporation. And it's called Undertaker's something or another. It's really weird. I can look it up. I don't know if it's official. I haven't had I haven't had time to scratch my head. I've been doing double duty, at work and then doing this. I got to run patrol every night this month. That's really ridiculous how much I got to do. But we'll get through it because this is important information. But they sent me some stupid crap saying you need to do this and do that. And it's not a cease and desist. It's just like them putting me on notice or something. Like, don't be talking about certain things and this and that. And I'm like, who is this? Like, what is this? I mean, I don't understand this. Obviously, they have the address to the studio. And so I said, look, I don't know who the hell you are, and I don't really care. It's not going to scare me. You're not going to make me go, ooh, whatever. But they put the address on there, and it came in through my P.O. box, actually. But what's crazy, though, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, this is going in the shredder because I don't give a crap who you are. So I decided to hang on to it just in case. I'm going to give it to my lawyer and see what he can make of it and see what this is because I couldn't understand what this was. And then part of it's in Latin. So I don't know if that's the little cutesy poo thing that they're doing or if somebody's trolling me because a lot of people, it's public knowledge. My P.O. box is public knowledge. The other things are not. But I'm sitting here going like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it. But I know that they do what they do. And that looks creepy, which what you got going on there? It's kind of creepy. Bottle of water, like it made this weird shadow on there. But I think what it is these people, they have this predilection toward, this sacrificing and doing all this crap. And I think that they don't just use animals. I don't. I think that what they do is they offer these beings for that little bit of power that they can get. What they don't realize, and I'm going to say it again, and it sounds like a broken record, but the power of Christ can defeat any of that. It's nothing. It's a sucker's deal. I don't even know why they do it, but they're so determined. People love to be right too. They love to be right, and they love to. So you got now. I'm being trolled by all these different people because we're talking about things that they can't handle. And I think they're being used. I think some of them are absolute positive shills. And then I think some of them are just being used. They're just pawns. And they spout off all kinds of crazy stuff. Like I got one of them today was on their Facebooks posting things about me saying that I'm demonic and I have a bulldog head underbite. And I got this. She said that, look at my eyes, basically the same thing. Go ahead. Basically the same thing. You don't have to ask. I mean, just take it. I don't know why are you asking? When did that start?
Well, because these aren't mine.
Oh, okay. Nellie does that to me at the store. She'll do it can I have this? I'm like, when did you become this subservient person that needs to ask, So this is kind of funny, just to bring some levity. We're at the Whole Foods, right, which I don't go to very often just to get my hummus, a certain type of hummus I like. And she's like, can I have some food in front of the lady that's stocking? And I'm like, yeah, I go ahead. What do you want? She goes, I don't know. I'd like to eat today if I can. I'm like, so I was like, what? Like she was doing this. Well, I didn't realize she was trolling me. And there's this they have a lot of people that are kind of like hippie-ish type. And that lady was like stocking. And she stops and looks at me like she wanted to kill me. And so when that lady walked off, I told Nellie, I said, why are you saying that? She's like, I'm just messing with you. I wanted to get to see what this lady's reaction was. So it gave me the idea, me and Tony, of going around to these different places and just doing kind of a prank channel, doing some things that make it funny, whatever. So when that happened, I said, she goes, it's not a big deal. We're not going to see her again. I go, yeah, but we come in here. What if she works here, And so we end up going and getting in line, and then the guy left, and then she comes up to check us out. So the whole time, she's like, moving my stuff, and she's like looking at me, and she's like, "So are you gonna let her eat today?" And I'm like, "What the hell?" So I told her, I said, "Look, my wife was joking. My wife's like, yeah, we're just messing around." I said, "Look, I have a channel about Paranormal Roundtable." I just tried to smooth it over, I was like, so I said, "No, my wife was messing with you." And so and she kind of said, "Yeah, okay." And she goes, "Oh, okay," because I was wondering, like, what the hell? That's what we had to explain to her. But my wife made it sound like, like she's this prisoner that doesn't eat and that she has to ask for permission to can I wear my shoes today outside on the gravel? No, go barefooted and cut your feet up. That's what happens.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
So I told her all of her twist requests. Yes, exactly. So anyways, getting off track, but I wanted to bring a little bit of levity because sometimes this stuff gets kind of dark. And so back to this stuff here. But anyway, these people, they do what they do. They say what they say. And they act like they're not being piloted by something because they are. They absolutely are. That thing is hitching a ride on them, and it is telling them what to do. The serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, he said that there was something on him and in him that would make him do it, and he would watch obsessively The Exorcist. That was his favorite movie, and then he also liked the Emperor from Star Wars. He said that was his favorite character in any fiction film. He's like, look at his eyes; they're like a cat's eyes, like a reptilian. I love that man. He's my favorite. He's so cool. Like he was telling one of his victims that they got away, and the guy was saying that's what he was telling him. Like he wanted him to sit there and watch The Exorcist with him, and he was like, "Nah, I'd like not to." And then when he went to prison, he said, when he accepted Christ and he got himself, whatever. He said before he would go to church with his grandmother and just go through the motions, and he felt nothing at all, spiritually dead. And maybe he was playing the role, but he had no reason to. He wasn't going to go anywhere. He was going to be in the rest of his life. But he said that, when he was in prison, he accepted Christ, and it changed a lot for him. So whenever they interviewed the guy that killed him, like he said that he just stood there and just accepted his fate. He didn't fight back. He didn't do anything. He didn't even lift his hands to try to stop him from hitting him in the head. It was like he wanted to be killed. He wanted to die. Now, I was watching a show one time where these people went to where that building's not there anymore, where he lived, right? And they did like this, with the voice box or whatever, and they were getting hits on it too. And Dahmer said that he was in purgatory, but he was burning. He was paying his penance, now. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Kind of like saying, like, look, this is so I don't go to hell. I don't know. And then they asked him all these questions. Well, somebody messaged me, and she was saying, her name was Tanya, but she said that she went there a few years ago and had done the same thing that those people were doing, and that she communicated with him, and he did say that he was burning, and that he was paying his price. He was paying a penance, but it wasn't a permanent thing for him. So it's two different times that I've heard of it or seen that. Now, we don't really know how the spirit world works. A lot of people are going to say, no, you burn in hell for all eternity. That's how it goes. But in the Hebrew tradition, there is no eternity. Eternity, the word for it is just like a really long time. Yeah, and it's true. Dahmer was baptized on the same day as John Wayne Gacy's execution. Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly true. I've read it that it was a day after, and I've also read that it was the day, whatever Dick Richards says, demons lie. Absolutely, that's true too. But you can't just go by what's said in some sort of biblical canon, because they take a lot of stuff out. And if you go back and you've read some of these books and what's in there. Like there's an apocryphal of Paul, apocryphal of Peter. There's all these different ones. They say different things. And in Peter's book, it says, I believe it's Peter. It might be Paul. That's confusing. One of those two, though, it says that it's not a permanent state, and that we are basically, the sin is being burned off of you. So, and then there's also in the Hebrew canon, the way heaven exists, there is an actual a jail. You go to jail in heaven. So you get to heaven, but you still got to pay the price for what you've done. So you kind of sit it out for a while. I mean, it's true. And it's a crazy thing. I mean, true that they say that. I'm not saying that that's exactly what it is, but there's sort of a situation like that in Buddhism too, where you make it to a higher level, but you end up having to pay the price still. You're in the heavenly realm. And those are for intermediate beings too. They have to be purified. They have to go through this flame, but it's not permanent, kind of like being cooked. And then they go into the jail of heaven, and then they're cleansed and re-educated, basically, into the heavenly realm, and they're whitewashed and then cleansed, and their robes are made sparkly and shiny, and then they become a part of the heavenly host. Now, I don't know if all that's true, but that is in multiple different religions and books. What that has to do with this is that these people, what they do is they just keep adding dirt to themselves. You just keep digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And when they die, you better believe, unless they're one of these that knows how to re-assimilate into a body, that is a real thing. They will die, and some of them are born after their perfect possession. They will be reborn. This is what I've been told. I'm not saying I believe this, folks. Let's put a disclaimer on that right now. None of this is something that I believe personally, because I don't know and I don't have enough information. Juan coming back on and talking about this is pivotal because, I have more information now to put the pieces together, to give him a little bit of understanding. But what happens is they come back, they reincarnate through another body, and it's that perfect possession that Joel was talking about, the vampire guy, the vampire cult dude. What Joel was telling us was that what happens with these people is that they have a breeding thing where they have a blood sex magic and all this other stuff, and it's basically like the child is born beyond redemption, and they bring an infernal soul, which literally is the union of a human and a demon. A human that allows themselves to be impregnated, and that being can die as a flesh being, and they come back. And that these beings can attack, and then when that being's soul is gone, they have a human aspect to them, right? So they understand humanity all too well, and then the other, they've made a hybrid. Because it says in the book of Genesis, and the Genesis I think is misinterpreted very badly, but it says in Genesis 6 that they bred with the daughters of man, the sons of God. Now, how are the sons of God? What they were fallen. They were angels, and they fell. They returned. A lot of belief in theologically is that Lucifer and his minions were here already cast down. And they were basically landlocked. They were stuck on here on this planet. And they traveled all over the place. And they were the Shaitan or the Hasatan, depending on how you say it, the Hebrew way. And then if it's the Shaitan is another way of saying it in Hebrew, but also it's the way that would be said like in Aramaic. There's another, So you say there's all these different ways to say it. Shadim is another way. But what they are is a race of beings. It's a title that's given to this race of beings. But what their goal was to corrupt God's creation. And they used that to make a counterfeit. Now, according to the Gnostics, this is a counterfeit world. This isn't the real world. Like you say, if you take an atomic microscope and you go deep enough, there's nothing there. We talked about it with Christopher Jordan. It's just like a whatever. See, Dick Richards, I don't totally believe all that. It says Satan was cast down. I don't believe that. I believe Lucifer was cast down, and Satan is a race of beings. And not that I don't believe that Lucifer was a Nephilim either. I believe he was way, way before the Nephilim. The rebellion in heaven took place a long time before the fallen. Now, you have two different things going on. You have the rebellious angels and the fallen angels. There were only 200 of the watchers who were the fallen angels. And literally their job was to watch out because of Lucifer's rebellion. Mm-hmm. This was a prison planet for them, right? They were. That's where the book of Job even predates Genesis. You know why that predates Genesis? Because when the Elohim come down, which is plural, and they talk to the Shadim or the Hasatan or Shatan, whatever you want to call them, and they said, "Behold our servant Job, there's none like him." In other words, bragging that the humans can't be turned, that the ones that love the Elohim. And they said, "Oh yeah, watch this," and they did everything they could, and Job wouldn't turn from worshiping the Elohim. And then what happens is this is a precursor. The Shaitan, which was what Lucifer's band of beings was, they were literally turned away by Job's heart, whatever. And so they went off to lick their wounds because they were defeated, and the Elohim said, "Ha, we got you. You know, this guy, you can't turn him. We have the humans in our grasp." So then, when the fallen are put down upon the earth, this is after Job. After Job, okay. This is where it gets really interesting and gets confusing. And a lot of scholars believe that there's a confusion there, and some of them really don't believe that Job should be in the Bible. There's a lot of different sects of religion that don't believe it's correct because it doesn't fit the narrative that was set out by the Council of Nicaea. But the Council of Nicaea had a job. They had a job to do, and their job was to convolute everything. So what ends up happening? The fallen, they are corrupted. They are literally the shaitan deceived them and corrupt them and give them evil thoughts, evil ideas, whatever, and they turned against God, and they did what they did because God was absent. For some reason, God was absent, and so they were just left to their own devices. And Samael decided to be the smart one here and do what he did, and Azazel was another one. You're not supposed to say their name, supposedly. Some people say not to, some people it doesn't matter. But they're now imprisoned. There's 200 of them. And they were deceived by the shaitan. So there's a lot of people, that don't understand like what's going on. They have no clue. So they just read that Old Testament and they say, "Oh yeah, I'm created in God's image. I'm just like God, and God's angry and jealous and all this other stuff." Yeah, that's not really correct. I'm just telling you right now because people don't read and they don't understand all the different facets of what's going on. So these cults, what these cults do, they latch on to a name because a demon or whatever will give them some sort of name. What they don't understand, and what even at the highest levels, they're so deceived because when you're so close to the horse, you don't realize it's about to kick you in the face. You get behind the horse's ass, watch what happens, right? You're following along behind that horse until it decides to kick you, and then your retardation sets in. This is what they do. That is a title. So when they say that they're of the house of this or that, it's a demon. But that demon could be long gone. And that is a house. It's like not Lord of the Rings, what's it called with the dragon? The dragons. Game of Thrones. Yeah, Game of Thrones. They have the different houses, like Half Baratheon, and then the Iron, what's it called? The Ironborn, where the Kraken, whatever they are, whatever they're called. They have their own sigils and whatever. These demons have their own sigils and their own house. And then they have sons and daughters, and then they have grandsons and daughters. And so Christians don't understand the concept of demons like jinn as the Arabs do, because the Arabs, even before Islam, believed in the jinn. And they were predated by a race of beings called the Jann, who predated them. And then there was another race of beings before them, and another one, and another one, and another one. So millions and millions of years of habitation by different types of alien species coming through portals, stargates, interdimensionals, whatever. And then they mix and interbreed and interdo whatever. And literally, they are different types of demons. And then there's also a type of demon that's kind of like an intergalactic cop. But I'm not joking. They'll grab beings that are hiding out in this realm, and they'll snatch them up and take them back to their dimension. I'm not joking. This is serious. I'm not kidding. I'm telling you, if you understood the nature of reality, but these cult people, they think that they got all the answers because they're getting a little bit of power, But the funny thing is that you don't even know what the hell you're worshiping. You're worshiping a name, and a being shows up and is taking credit, and you really don't know what it is. You just know that you get power from it. But that thing isn't going to give you its real name. They're not. When they say that they are this demon or that demon, that's their house name. They're like a representative of that house. That's a title. You're worshiping a title, really. You are. And then you don't even realize, though, that there's really only one name that matters, and that's Jesus. Because God, the true one living God, the God Most High, above the seventh heaven, gave him the absolute authority and power, and through his infinite Holy Spirit, which transcends everything. It's like, he's omnipotent. He can be in all places at one time. It's through the Holy Spirit. And so that trumps everything. And those were sent to us, those emissaries, His Holy Spirit and Christ to pull us out of this period that we're in. That's the only way. And what people don't understand is these beings that do what they do, yeah, you sound scary and big and ugly and all this other stuff, and you got all this going for you, right? But in the end, all it takes is one name, and it brings you to your knees. So these people, they can't hurt. Like, I'm telling you, if you're strong, and you have to be strong in the faith, and they're not normal people. If this was a normal person or an animal, they could kill you, and it's part of the natural way, and your soul goes to where it needs to be. Like, I could be killed by a bear, right? Mm-hmm. But if that bear is demon-possessed, it's not going to kill me. It's just how it is. I could get cancer, but if they're trying to give me cancer, I mean, who knows? You know, it depends. It depends on God's will. Now, that's another thing. Humans can do things that they can't. So it's a two-way street, but in the end, they still get the better deal. It's like if you needed a loan, right, Juan, and you walked into a store or a place where the loan officer says, you want $1,000. Here's $1,000, but you get what you want right now, and that's the one way. But I'm going to charge you 30% interest, so I'm going to get the money on the back end. That's mine, and then you're going to pay $1,300 or whatever it is. So who's really winning? I am. So yeah, that's the two-way street. Go ahead, Juan. You had a question?
Yeah, a comment, something that you said that's very important. One thing I walked away from learning from this experience was getting deeper into my faith. And what you just said right now, with the name of Jesus and, doing the communion, I'm Catholic and I go to church every week, I go to confession, but I really feel that I'm fearless. Because if you are a child of God and you're right with God, with Jesus, I'm not afraid of dying. And, like you said, maybe I was spared for a reason. And, I was fortunate not to have been killed. But right now that you mentioned the strength of the word with Jesus, and I don't want to sound like a Bible thumper or anything like that, but I'm just saying, when you're aligned hardcore with your faith, I think that a lot of these things cannot really work against you. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about occultists, cult members, witches, anybody doing the black magic. And one other thing I wanted to say, when you mentioned how these are things we don't yet understand, it's actually black science, not black magic. There's something there too. But I guess what I'm saying is, if you stand right with the light of God, none of this should bother you. And in my case, I can only speak for myself. I've renounced looking for Dogman. I'm not into finding out. I'm at ease. I'm at peace. And I'm only on the defensive. If something comes at me, I will react, to defend my life or the life of others. But, I'm not looking for anything more. I'm fascinated by this topic, but that's where I leave it at. I'll listen. And it's interesting. Right now, you're a deep wealth of information. I would just caution you to be careful with people that might want to hex you and all that. So that's where I stand on this.
It's happening too. It's happened multiple times, and these people they masquerade as Christian too, and they're not. They're not. It's all a smokescreen, and they are, all of them really are. They're into the occult, in the way that they're looking for the hidden, but they want it for their own purposes.
Right.
Yeah, and they're not. They're absolutely. Most of these people are evil. I mean, there's no good in them, because if there was, when they were offered the olive branch, they would have took it and just stopped. But none of them did. Several of them said, "Yeah, we want peace," and then they immediately just turned around and stuck the knife in deeper and twisted it. They don't want peace, and whatever is attached to them is not going to allow them peace. If they really wanted peace, they would stick by what they say. Folks, we're doing a giveaway here at the end of the show, so if you want to be involved in the giveaway, it's a members giveaway. So it's $5 for the membership, whatever. So if you want to be a member, sign up, because we don't put anything behind a paywall, so the members don't get anything extra for being a member. So we got to do what we got to do there, I mean, so... Yeah, Two Shadows, give me money and I'll save you a seat in heaven. That's pretty much what a lot of these do, too.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, if you want to join, your name will come up in green, and then you'll be eligible to do the giveaway. So that's the thing we're doing for the members to try to to give them something.
Yeah.
I believe you're getting closer to the truth, and like you said, finding bits and parts over time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see where this goes. What mystery can
Me
be
too.
unraveled? But you're getting there. You're getting there. I believe it.
Yeah, and I thought it was important to bring you on and talk to you about this because it is a struggle that we're going through, and we're getting kicked in the teeth, and we're getting punched in the stomach every time we turn around. We're getting hit in the jaw. These people are at us constantly, and they don't understand. I've had other listeners reach out to these people that are mutuals with them, that I don't know if they stay mutuals with them, but they've reached out to them and told them, do you realize what you're doing? You're trying to impede the truth and what this guy's doing. And they just laugh at them. They laugh. They send little laughy emojis and stuff. And I'm like, I told you, I said, these people are, they're obsessed on, if not downright possessed.
Yeah, their minds are made up.
What made them turn the way there's nothing that should have made them turn this way. Getting involved in other people's,
Yeah. I mean, I've said this before that I think if you honestly sat them down and like asked them in the most earnest way, why are you doing what you're doing with this situation, that they couldn't even give you, they wouldn't know why. They couldn't give you an honest answer. I'm telling you, Juan, I think it's like it's not a person, it's a spirit. It's a spirit that drives people to do and say the most ridiculous things. That it's like a spirit of envy, a spirit of pride. I don't know.
I got to tell you, I am impressed with the way PRT and the paratroopers and the PRT team has withstood the attack, the avalanche of just vile attacks, and how PRT has come out stronger on the other side, telling more stories, getting more interviews, instead of like in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of them knocking you down and out, PRT has gotten up and brought it back to them. And I'm impressed, really, like with the output the team has done. And that's, you guys. And, we stand behind you. We support what you're doing, trying to find the answers to the mysteries. And I really believe you guys are getting closer and closer. I wanted to mention the gentleman that I admire so much from Monsters 911.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? He was at the conference. But
Are you talking about Lance Hightower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year, when I was truck driving around the month of March, he had this priest on talking about other mysteries, and he was getting close to the truth as well. But as you know, he had to step down. I don't know if he was, what's the word? Threatened by either a government entity or something. But I respect that he stood out, and he has to keep quiet. But I know he's getting close. So I believe the attacks coming to PRT might be along the same vein. You guys are getting close to something big, something real, and these nefarious powers don't want the general population to know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've spoken with Lance personally.
Yeah. He was at the conference. The thing about Lance is that, like, he himself, Bettina was the first one, Bettina Moss, that told me, don't try to do a live with him because they'll mess it up. That's what she said. And then when I talked to Lance, I said, we're going to have to do a pre-record. We tried to pre-record with Melba Ketchum, twice?
Yeah.
And both times we couldn't do it. I gave up. I just said, you know what? It didn't work. There's been a few people that's happened with, and we've tried to reschedule, but then you have, because of the timeline, the time, you only have like this. I have these days, this time to talk to this person, and then I have to move on to the next person because it's scheduled in advance. And so to talk to this person, talk to that person, whether or not it's going to be recorded or not. I have everything scheduled up until like what, July?
Yeah.
To right around my birthday, because I was planning on taking a little break around my birthday. We don't know yet because we got to move now. But we have the times to talk to people slated out in advance. And you were actually slated out to come on Thursday, and then it ended up getting kind of messed up. But I thought it would be much better to have you come back and do it on this show, because and we had Jordan on for Blondes and Booze, but I just thought it was important that we come back and we revisit this because people have been asking for it. They've been asking about it and saying, "What happened to this guy? What do you think? What he knows about this situation?" And I said, "Well, bringing him on and talking and having you appear here in person would be pivotal."
Well, I'm honored. I'm honored for the invitation of getting more answers. Like I said, I put it to rest, but I've always wondered about all the other mysteries. And I was just telling Anthony that I think PRT is on the brink of something important, especially with the Black Science and Blondes and Booze show with Mr. Jordan about the vibrations. I think there's something there that has to do with going into another world.
Yeah, and Ron Moorhead is another one. He's been doing a lot of work since the conference. There's been a lot of collaboration with him. He's been going out to the LBL and dealing with Daryl Denton and Martin Groves and Barton Nunley. And so it was important. The conference was big because the conference did a lot of things. And if you noticed, the main person that came out and attacked us was right after the conference, and that touched it all off. And I believe that was set up that way, whether he knows it or not. Thank you for that donation, Dennis. And so, that situation that developed, and I told Bettina and I told Abe, both of them, Abe Cias and Bettina Moss, I said this was a coordinated attack. It was, because the other individuals got involved. They were waiting in the wings, and no matter how I tried to talk to them, it was like it was set up that way. And we were led into the deep water by a false person. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm at war with this guy. He's behind it." And then he flipped, and I was like, this whole thing. And then they came at me from every angle, and they tried to destroy me. They tried to break my will. And now we got this witch over here. She's over here talking crazy, and she's a witch. Don't make no mistake. And she's over here talking crazy, talking about how, they built an altar, ha ha ha, whatever, making a joke out of it. Yeah, I know they did. Lady. And I'll set the record straight right now. My wife didn't say that thing at the bottom of. I did. I did call you a bitch because you are, and I lost my cool. I couldn't help it. And it was wrong. It was wrong to say that, But I did that because that's what you are. You're an evil, evil, evil person who's been meddling in this field for a long time, and a lot of y'all have. Okay, and you know who you are, and you know what's done in the light will be brought. What's done in the darkness will be brought to the light, and that's the song "Envy." It's about all of you. That's what you are, not you, Juan, but the people. Juan's like, what?
No, I get it.
No, but that's what it was about. It was about these people doing these evil things in the dark. You're messing with people that you have no right to mess with. We didn't do anything to you. We did not. And for what? Because you're compelled. And why are you compelled? And now all of a sudden they're all fundamentalist Christians when first they couldn't agree on the time of day. And now all of a sudden they're all, oh, yeah, I'm the same way. I believe the same way. One of them said he was a Catholic. I have a question. Now he's a fundamentalist Baptist. So how does that work? But go ahead, Juan.
Yeah, well, the question is, you talk to a lot of people, and I've spoken with some people, but I cannot find a person to interview, a person that is involved in a cult, like right this moment, and that the person can express themselves and explain what they do, how they do it. I mean, have you come across that?
No.
Have you brought somebody like that on the show? Or would you ever do that?
Never will. That will not happen.
Okay.
I don't believe it will happen because when they're in that cult, they can't do that.
Yeah.
They just cannot do that. It's after they escape or they get out. Because Joel and them told me there's another one. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to endanger them. But there's another place where they have someone that's talking, and is trying to get out, and they're trying to bring other members out, which could literally break this wide open. But I think the powers that be have a vested interest in keeping that locked down. I'm going to say that, and who knows how much danger I'm in. I could be swimming with sharks right now, I don't even know it. But I'm prepared. We all are, as a household. We all made the decision that we were going to keep going. We weren't going to let them bully us, right?
Yep. All we have to do is endure, and we all have a bond that the people against us don't understand. I mean, we are each other's shields, and we can't break this shield wall. It's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. No matter what anyone throws at us, we will continue to move forward like a Tortuga formation in the Roman army. Just keeps moving forward like a tank.
Yeah,
and
we're very...
that's one thing I was commending you guys on, that PRT's moving forward despite all the attacks. PRT has come far and beyond with more programs, more stories, more interviews, and whoever's against you, they have to step back in awe and realize, PRT is quality.
Thank you. I appreciate those kind words. Yeah,
no, well, really it's the truth, and I believe I speak for a lot of people.
Yeah,
especially new people that don't know what's happened years before. They don't know, but they see the quality. I see the quality still.
Yeah, and we do a lot of work, and I can't take credit for it. I mean, I'm up here mainly the one talking, but these guys do a lot of work, and my wife does too. And everybody gets stories, and even like guys like Scorpion being on the front lines, dealing with him and D dealing with these crazy homeless people. And we were talking at dinner the other night with a woman who's a non-believer, and she was just like, "Yeah, I don't believe in this cannibalism thing, whatever." I was like, "It doesn't matter what you believe." She's a nice lady, and I don't think she meant anything by it. I don't think she understands. But I explained it to her, and I said, "Look, we're living in a defunded city. And now every night, I'm not joking, every night me and Anthony go out, we risk our lives," which is not really, it wasn't like that a few years ago where, yeah, you went out, but if you were working in the housing projects, which we did, the housing projects we did with Hacka. But now we risk our lives. Last night we had to confront some people who were having a party. They were from, they're Mexican nationals, and they weren't listening to him. I had to get out of the vehicle and go and be like, "Look, stop, okay? Or there's going to be problems." And they know the police aren't going to do anything. So I was just like, "Look, I'm going to make sure that I write you up. I'm taking pictures." And they're like, "Don't be doing that. Why don't you stop me? Because I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to turn it in, and you're going to get evicted. And the constables will come and deal with you. You might not get the cops to come out here tonight to tell you to be quiet. But I'm telling you right now," and we just kept taking pictures, mm-hmm. and we turned them in. And then today they got their notices, and they got a what do you call it, a write up or whatever. And so when we go through there tonight, who knows how they're going to react? So tonight when we're out there driving through there at 1, 2 in the morning, who knows what they're going to do or say? The patrol guy that's doing it right now until we take over. He hasn't gone through there yet. I told him to let us do it, because we know what's going on. I don't want him getting attacked. Not that I want us to be attacked, but I feel like I'm not impervious or whatever. I don't feel that way at all, but I'm not afraid. Like, I will get in anyone's face and do what I got to do. Bless you. Bless
Thank you.
Just, you can't have fear. No fear.
Josh, you remind me of my son. He's 23. He's a bouncer at a certain place. And he always uses reason to be on his side. He'll talk to the people calmly. He'll make reasonable requests so that when anything goes down, the reasoning will favor him. Mm-hmm. But you've been a security professional for the longest time. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, there are two kinds of people that gravitate toward this field, and there's the wannabe cop who's like, "Yeah, I'm a wannabe, I'm a cop, I'm a cop. You want to be a cop, go be a cop, okay? That's not what we are." And then there's the slacker who just like, "You know what? I want to park somewhere and go to sleep and get paid." A couple of the bozos that are after us now, they worked with. That's what they did. That's all they ever did. We caught them sleeping over and over again, and when they got in trouble, they were mad about it. And then they lied. I mean, we had you on camera. We got you sleeping. We got pictures of you sleeping. And you're like, oh, I want to sleep. People do that. And then they take advantage, and then they want to get paid. And I pay them, and then I don't deal with them no more. And then I pay them no mind because they're not going to be around me. But I was never one of those two. I was never that. It was a means to an end for me. I saw it as a business model because I have always been a type of guy who's like a warrior type person. That spirit is in me. And I've always been somebody who liked to protect the innocent. I want to protect people. And I worked as a bouncer for years in a club when I was that age, your son's age. And there were some big, tough guys that came in there. And some of my friends, like Tony's stepdad, had told Anthony, he told him, he's like, I thought, oh, man, this time Wolf's going to meet it's his Waterloo. And it never happened. Never happened. They would get in my face. And the Arabs that I worked with, they were from Lebanon. They were Druze, D-R-U-Z-E. And they always believe you always got to have food. You know, they're like, you want food? You want food? Then they'd always put fruit up at the front with dates and things. I didn't like dates, but I would eat the other fruit. And I'd be sitting there eating an apple or an orange, just peeling an orange, and there's some guy just barking in my face. And man, I'm a hard ass. I'll F you up, man. My heart don't pump Kool-Aid, dude. I'll bite your face. You know, and I'm just sitting there calm and cool, peeling an orange. And I would tell them, when I'm done peeling this orange, I'm going to break your nose. You ain't going to do shit, fool. They'd back up and take their shirt off and act all silly. And then sometimes I would, and my friends would just laugh their asses off because I would just throw the peel at them and then pow. And I would do exactly what I told them I was going to do. And while you're busy talking and using your mouth to say a bunch of crazy words that I don't give a shit about, and then I'm going to right hook you into the next dimension. And then you tell me what you saw. Because I'm interested.
That's called woofing. People trying to get their courage up. By barking,
psyching themselves up, you know, and they don't do a lot of that in security now. But I did have a contract. I did have to do a lot of that when I was working at one of ours a couple of years ago. And there was a guy. He was about 6'7". He was a big dude. I know because I was standing on the stoop, and he was as tall as me. And he had like this little dude bouncing around talking about. The little dude was talking about the trash, like his promoter. I was like, "What are you, his promoter? What are you doing?" And the guy's like, "I'll tear that badge off and make you eat it." And I was like, "It's a cloth badge, you know." And I'm like, "It's like," I was like, "Yeah, you're not gonna touch me, dude. Right? It's not gonna happen." And as soon as he was out of range of the camera, where I didn't want to make the ladies in the office get all freaked out, whatever, dude, I handled my business. And then he staggered around all over the parking lot, falling down, getting back up, falling down, getting back up. "Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back." "No, you won't. You are not coming back to this place." And I just told him, I said, next time it'll be different, a lot different, and a lot worse. So you have to do things. People say, "Oh, you think she's tough." I don't think. I know. It's not a matter of thinking, and I don't demand respect. I command it. Because if you don't, people will eat you, and they will eat your soul. And these cults that we're talking about, they depend on fear. There's a level of fear there. I would never be able to be drawn into that, ever. But if I was, I would just walk out, and they wouldn't do anything about it. I promise you. Anyway, Scorpion, $2,500. I'll be your buyer. That was another fight that we had at the club. A guy was telling everybody that for $2,500 he would be their boss. That ended well for him too. But these people, they have no idea what they're messing with. They really don't. They don't know what they're up against. I say this all the time. They do not know. You know, Anthony said this, you know, at the height of this little information war we were in. He said, "My uncle is built for war in all forms. It doesn't matter whether it's, you know, on the YouTube or in real life, on the streets." He's like, in every shape or form, spiritual, physical, and mental, he's primed for this. You're not going to win. You will not win. And, you know, they attacked me over and over again, Juan, a bunch of them. Didn't put a dent.
Yeah, I wanted to add, there's a modern philosopher. I don't know what you think about him, Jordan Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
And he's in an interview where he says, it's good to be a dangerous man. And then the person that's interviewing him asks, what do you mean? Isn't that a bad thing? He says, no. When you're a dangerous person, you know how to fight, you know how to defend yourself, and you want to protect the weak, but you choose to be nice and peaceful. Mm-hmm. That's different than being weak from the beginning. When you're dangerous, I consider myself dangerous, but I'm the most peace-loving person. Mm-hmm. But I know that if I ever have to, I can protect myself and innocent people as well. And it's good to be dangerous in that context.
Yeah.
So that's how I see you, my friend.
Yeah, and I've been in your presence too, and I'm a bit of an empath when I'm with somebody around them or whatever, and I can feel that you're a very nice person, and people might take that the wrong way. It may be it's deceptive. I'm a big guy. You've seen me in person. I'm a big dude, and they think, oh, he's a big guy. He's going to try to grab me or wrestle with me. No, dude, I'm going to throw chingazos, man, because my hands are fast. Go look at the videos. I've posted videos
Oh yeah,
of
I
me.
saw that.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, no, I'm quick. I have a video of me actually knocking someone out too. I don't post that because that's,
Right.
that's just, I can't do that. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, people think that it's a joke. And I posted videos of me lifting weights too. So if you want that smoke, then go train like you're fighting with the Decepticons. Because if you think you can take me, go to that episode. What was it? Transformers. The second one where Prime is fighting. Yeah, they got him. But the dude, he was taking on 3 of them and holding his own. That's always been me. I've always done that. And there's never been a time when I backed down and was afraid. And if I do, it's only to come back at you at another time, because you have to know the time. It's not a person, it's a time. People make the mistake of thinking that there's always someone who's got your number. That's not true. It's a time. There is a time when you are absolutely at your best and you're in your prime. Now, obviously, I'm not in my 20s and 30s anymore. I'm getting up there and long in the tooth. But I can still take care of myself. I'm very, very capable. Me moving is not about my protection. It's not fear for me. I guarantee they're not going to do it to me. Mm-hmm. They're not going to come within 100 feet of me. They're going to mess with people I love and I care about and that I'm close to, so I got to move them out of that situation. I don't like having to have a guard in front of my house all night long, paying them $18 an hour to sit there because these people want to act stupid.
See, that's what cowards don't get, that a warrior spirit has honor in it. And there's the right way to do things. And, unfortunately, some of these people don't have that. They don't understand it. They don't get what we're talking about, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you this thing that happened to you and it changed your perspective. How did it change the way you did things? Do you feel like you've had to kind of be a lot more careful?
Well, you know what? I'm not so trusting anymore. I was always very trusting of strangers and people. And it's funny, my wife laughs that every time I see a person, I joke with her and tell her, reptilian, is that a shapeshinger? And she gets on my case for that. But remember one of the stories that you mentioned out of here in El Paso, about a homeless guy that was a shapeshifter? Dude, every time I'm out there, I'm looking at them and I'm wondering, but in seriousness, the only thing that's changed is I'm a lot more cautious. I'm still a nice guy and everything, but this time when people tell me things, I don't just believe it. I wait and I see how they act, what they do. I don't accept what they tell me as truth anymore. And what struck with me was that I could have been killed. Mm-hmm. And they don't care. That old man that used to be him and his mother, he told me the women would have devoured you and they would have drank your blood and you would be cut in pieces and nobody would ever find you anymore. That's what's changed. I go to confession every week. Not that I do a lot of bad things. I really don't. I mean, I don't get out much. I don't really mess with people. But I want to be pure in my heart, in my mind. And I think the only thing that's changed is that I'm weary. Now, I'm not paranoid, but I don't take things at face value anymore. And I'm teaching my children not to. I tell them there's levels to everything, and any interaction in public, how can I put it without sounding weird, but we're all humans. I'll say 99.9.
Well, I don't even think it's that much. I think it's probably 80%.
Well, and see, this is the thing that my wife and I don't get along about hybrids and changelings and reptilians and all that. And I kid with her, but I'm good with my faith. I'm good with the people all around me. As an educator, I get students that were my students, and they tell me, Mr. Muro, we loved your class. It marked a time difference in my life. And when I get that, whether they're kids or adults, it's meaningful. So I know I have my role in this life right now. It's just to focus on my family and my neighborhood and the people around me. But if you ask me what has changed, I don't take what people tell me as gospel anymore. They have to prove it. I have to see how they react, how they are. Because people will tell you stuff. They'll lie.
Yeah, everybody's doing it. It's real fashionable nowadays to sit there, and that's another thing too. I get why people think that I'm not being honest when I talk about what I'm capable of. There's not many people being honest. When I was downtown, there was all these fakes talking about I could do this, I could do that. I make $1 million doing this, and I'm the toughest guy in the world, and what? Shut up! And you smack them, and they're all that look of stunned ignorance, and they have no clue what to do. My friend Deuce King, he posted a thing. It was from 2014, where the guy that he had choked out had wanted to fight him. So they went down and did you see that on Facebook?
No, I don't think I saw that.
Oh God, you look up Deuce's deal, and I'll read it on there. It's hilarious. Deuce is a former professional fighter. He was in Bellator and all this other stuff, and he coached. He was Anthony's first boxing coach until we left. What was that one called? Blindside, and we went to Black Sheep. But they were kind of a one-stop shop. They had a jiu-jitsu teacher who was chief, and then the boxing coach was Deuce, but they wanted to do kickboxing, and so they went to Black Sheep, and Anthony did boxing, and then Tony did the kickboxing, and Tony's been kickboxing for a long time. He's been training. Tony's deceptive. He just looks like a skinny kid, but he's got his form down pat. So if he kicks you with those skinny legs, he could really hurt you pretty bad. And he's very laid back, but I've seen him throw kicks and punches. He knows how to do it. I've watched these guys train, and I've been in there and I've helped train them. And so I was assisting Deuce at that time, about 2 years ago. But Deuce he's a deceptive guy. He looks like a small, skinny dude. But he's a brawler, and he's been doing it for a long time. And that's why that show that's coming out called Dirty Sixth, and that's about 6th Street. And he came at a time after I was gone, and there was a vacuum there. And there was not, I had to get out because there was a lot going on in my life, and I was wanting to change my life and give my life back to God. And I did. And I don't care whether people believe it or not. Don't believe me. I'm telling you the absolute truth of what I did and the things that I've done. And I don't know anybody back at that in those days, in the old days, that could take me. I don't give a shit who you were. You could try. I mean, I was told by some really hardcore fighters that saw me, they all thought I was going to end up going into the UFC and doing something, but it was a weight limit. You couldn't be over 300 pounds. And even in slim down, I was like 315. Because my frame, you've seen me, Juan. My frame is absolutely huge. I'm a big guy, and people think, oh, he's a big dude, but I can do this and you can do that. I'll take his legs out. Well, you're not going to do none of that because you don't know how to do it. You don't. You're not going to. And when you see how quick I am, you're not going to be able to do that. And I tell people, I've lost a step, I'm sure, with my legs. I'm older, I'm 48, but in my prime. No way, dude. There's no way. No way in hell. I have no doubt who I could take down and who I could. I trained with some really bad dudes back in the day. I knew a lot of people. I knew a lot of fighters, man. Guys that are famous guys, really tough guys. Met Roy Jones Jr. I mean, I trained with all kinds of fighters, man. Sparred with some really amazing people. It's right there on his Facebook. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling.
But I wanted to. It was just today, so it should be right on top. But yeah, it's. I wanted to read this to everybody, and they could see what we're talking about here. There's people who do these. They say and do these silly things, and they just. It's just. There's a picture of him right there fighting. So let me see if I can find it. Yeah, and here's his movie thing right here. Here's his movie deal right here. I'll show you this on Facebook right here.
People appreciate the modern conveniences.
This is the trailer to the movie that they're making about him.
The Texas summers make some people appreciate the modern conveniences of
Hold on.
air conditioning and the temperatures controlled by buttons.
It's got all the comments on there. I'm trying to get it on there. How do we get that to play full size? Just set it up, and I'm going to show. But it's a quick little deal. That's the guy that he works. He used to work 2 bars down from Squid, who was one of my guys back in the day. Squid's still working down there, and so is Tank. Tank is an African American dude that runs another clip. Here it is, right here. I'll show you the clip if you can see it. That's an actor playing Deuce, but that's who we're talking about. That guy looks a lot different than Deuce, actually.
Let's go ahead and cut that because I don't know if the music is going to get us into kind of
Yeah, it's the music, yeah.
Some noxious
But that's his when he says though what he's talking about in the video. If you go back and you watch that video, I will share that to my Facebook. Go to the Facebook and watch that video and what he talks about the drugs and all the different things that go on down there. That's it's called Dirty Six for a reason, folks. So I was a real person doing real things, and there was no fake in me. The people in my real life, everyday life that know me, they laugh at all this. They're just like, "What is this, dude? These people they don't know you." Because they see the people saying things and making comments, and my friends just laugh. They're just like, this is ridiculous. Because back in those days, nobody would disrespect me like that. I've never been so disrespected in my whole life as I decided to do this. And you have to have a thick skin, and people claim that I don't, which is bullcrap. You hear about 10% of the nonsense that goes on. There's a lot that I don't even give them the time of day. Every day I'm insulted. Every day I get an email or a message or something talking about how much they hate me. Every day of my life, every day, for 5 years straight, has been that way. More so after the thing happened with the dude from the other channel that said that about on my mom's birthday. They said that, or my mom's death. They said that to me, and then that set it all off, and it's been that way ever since. But I'm going to hold my own. I'm going to say what I got to say. I'm going to do what I got to do. I've put myself out there because you're in the public eye. The only thing that I don't like is when people go after people I care about. Somebody said, Wolf, who you got, Usyk or Fury? I want Fury, but I can't really say. Usyk is pretty formidable.
Yeah.
He's going to give Fury everything he can handle, let's put it that way. And Fury better come to fight and better not do this thing that he did with Nagano. I think Fury's got a lot going for him because, he's one of those traveler gypsies, and they're a fight culture. That's what they do. But Usyk is a tough son of a gun. He handled Joshua, but then again, so did our boy Andy, Ruiz. Everybody thought Tubby wouldn't do it. I thought Ruiz, because I know boxing and I know fights. Anthony's seen me predict probably, at least 90%.
Yeah.
I've predicted fights. I can predict a fight when I've seen 2 fighters fight enough. I know who can win. That one there, it's a hard one. That's a hard one to call. I knew that Wilder could not take Fury, even if they fought on the moon. I was like, there's no way this guy can ever beat this dude. And the thing about, and I'm going to say this, a lot of people are Mayweather fans. I think Mayweather is horrible. I think he picked and chose his way to the 50. We have a guy named Julio Cesar Chavez, Jr. or whatever. Was it Junior? Is it Junior? Julio Cesar Chavez. He got up to 100 fights.
I think so.
Undefeated. So how are you going to compare Mayweather's 50-0 to hit this guy?
Or maybe it was like 80-something fights.
Yeah, it was something crazy, but he
took a defeat.
He took a defeat, but it was like, I think it was in the 90s, actually. Yeah, and so...
I think it's 80.
Yeah, 80-something, or maybe it was 89. I don't look it up. I could say this. When you watch Mayweather, he has only literally knocked out 3 people. It's all TKO because they stop it because he just keeps hitting on people. But 87th, Scorpion just said it, 87th. But his name is Chavez, not Chavez. I'm
And
messing with
it's
you.
senior, not junior.
Yeah, senior. His son is fighting. That's right. And he also beat another great fighter that I thought was one of the best, Camacho. That was an amazing fight too. But he took him down. You know, and Tommy Hearns recently said he was like, if I was in my prime, he goes, I'd kill Mayweather. I mean, it's just being honest. Because look at Hitman Hearns, look at Marvin Hagler, look at Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard. That was when boxing was real.
Yeah.
Those guys.
That was like
Four
watching
Kings.
Spider-Man box.
I think Golovkin could have beat him too. You know, I think when he fought Canelo, I think Canelo was young and kind of inexperienced. He caught everybody at the right time. See, it's a time. Mayweather is a master of that, though. But that you got to give him credit for knowing the time, because the time is everything. Timing is everything. And I used to coach, and I used to tell people, my guys would ask me, they'd be like, how do you beat speed? And I would tell them, first you have to have speed, and it's something you can't coach. You either have it or you don't. You don't learn quickness. You don't learn speed. You either got it or you don't. But you got to have that ability to be quick. You got to have quick hands. But then you have to, it's timing. Now, timing will beat speed, yeah, to a degree. But if that person is fast enough and your brain's not working fast enough, then you aren't going to be able to do anything. That timing is just, you're going to get laid into with punches. And like Tyson once said, everybody's got a plan until you get hit. Then what do? A lot of times in football, too, you'll see that. They'll have this game plan going in. We're going to neutralize this guy. We're going to do this. And we're going to build a seam here and a seam here. We're going to run up the middle. And as soon as that doesn't work, they're like, crap, what do we do now? Because maybe when you were watching the tape, that guy was having a bad game or something, and he's figured out what he's supposed to do, and now he's a different person. That's it. That's the same thing. You have to. It's like an arms race. You have to keep building. I started out, when I would fight, I would have a few tricks that I was really good at. I was really quick about getting around behind somebody, rear naked choking them. I was really good at shooting people's legs out from under them. I was good at certain mounts, and that was about it. That was, I wasn't like an ankle locker real good. I could arm bar people to a degree, but mostly I just survived ground and pound. I would pin people down. I was so heavy. And I would just beat them to death, And then boxing, you'd start up on your, and I was really good at these quick low leg strikes, really good at hurting people on their legs, and they'd be like doing this and wincing because you keep kicking them. You're like bam, bam, and then you get in close, and my hands can do anything. I can do any kind of punches you want. A really stiff left jab, a hard right cross. My right cross, probably my best punch. And so, but, eventually, though, you have to build a repertoire to where you don't just have 4 or 5 things because people figure you out. So then you evolve as a fighter and you learn other moves and you learn to, and then I was really good at punching backwards. Like I had a lot of power in my upper body so that I didn't have to use my hips and legs to hurt you. I could hit you standing. Anthony seen me knock somebody out standing like still and just do this, boom. Overhand riding somebody and just knocking them unconscious, not even using my hips. So I could run backwards, move backwards, and actually throw power into that and hurt you while you're coming at me and I'm going backwards, backpedaling. It's something I practiced. And I had 2 coaches, 2 different ones, tell me, stop doing that. You need to stand in it and do this, And I would be like, yeah, but there's times when you have to backpedal, and I don't want to just be doing this and having them tee off on me. And they're like, you're wasting punches, until they saw me knock out one of my sparring partners. And I said, look, I can do that. And they were shocked. They were like, no way. But I tell you, some of the hardest people to spar with were the smaller guys. They're twice as fast. Lightweight guys, just if as long as you're not trying to hurt them, you can hurt them, but you got to go light. But learn to take that quickness and then that whirlwind that they give you. And that was something I learned, was how to fight quick people, big people. There's all different people. But like Tyson said, you got to go. You got to plan until it happens, until you get hit.
Josh, you got to write a book about boxing moves.
I want to write a book about a lot of things. I want to write a book about economics, because right now it's happening. People need to be aware of where we're headed. Pay attention to these big moguls, these big shakers and movers like Warren Buffett. Watch where they're putting their money. When he's pulling his money out of something, a lot of times it's to put it somewhere else, but a lot of them are pulling out of the stock market right now. What do you think that is? What do they know? What do they know? It's about to plummet or crash. We've been living on borrowed time economically for a long time, and when you're on a fiat currency, which I can't even really talk about it right now because I'm not on Rumble, but I can tell you There's a lot that needs to be said about that. So there's a lot of books I'd like to write. I don't think I'm going to have enough time in my life to do everything that needs to be done. I want to get these other books out, the rock and roll myths and legends, and I want to get the Pondering the Paranormal. I want to get that one out, and then the vampire book. And I've made some inroads today on that one, making a lot of, So hopefully I'll have everything I need to bring it all to a head, the vampire thing. It may not have all the answers, but it's going to have some encounters, and I'm going to do some postulating on what's going on here. And then there might be another book that'll companion that with cults and what they're doing. Somebody said, yeah, it's going to get you killed. Well, if it is, it is. I've already started a movement that no one's going to stop. And even if I'm gone, it'll still be there. People can still go. Somebody will pick up the mantle. Somebody will do what needs to be done. The more people talk about these things, the better. I don't look at my friends as competition. I look at them as allies in this because we're bringing you information. I don't do this because I want to get paid. And I'm not getting paid right now. Nobody's giving me money for this. I've gotten some donations, but that's not what this is about. And there's people that'll say, well, it's because you already have money. You don't need it, blah, 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 blah. They act like I woke up rich or something. Like, I'm rich. I woke up and I just had money in my pocket. And I was homeless at one time, living in my car. And I would fight. There was always this group of people downtown that thought that they were tough, and they would be like, you want to fight somebody? And the prizes weren't that big, $100, $200. And I'd be like, man, I could beat this guy up for $200, and we would fight behind the 7-Eleven. There was a 7-Eleven we would go and we would fight back there. And that ground is unforgiving when somebody falls on it. And so there was this thing I would do sometimes, and I'm quick enough to do it too, and I would grab the back of somebody's head and punch them like that, and people would ask me, they thought I was bringing their head into my hand. I was like, no, because when I knock them out, I don't want them to fall and bust their head open, and then I go to jail for murder. And so I learned to hold people as I did that and then let them down, And in that video, if you go watch it, Deuce actually talks about how he went from punching people and getting sued to choking, rear naked choking people. Because down there where he worked, it's a mess. It was a violent place. That's it. I mean, Scorpion, there you go. He's smart enough with money. He has money for an extra day, rainy day, yeah. The money we get for the show, that's not personal property money. We put that into an account, and what that does is we use it for the show. And now we're using it for some legal fees because they don't want to stop. So we got to do more. We sent out the cease and desist, but we got 3 more to do. And the lawyer can only do so much because he's got to look through all this different stuff. And now it's just him because the other guy's got other stuff he's doing. And I have another situation I got going illegally because I'm suing someone. And so, yeah, it's a mess. You got to do what you got to do. And we're getting camera equipment, but the camera equipment we need to make the show worth a crap and out in the field is like $4,000. So we got one camera that we were sent that we could use, but that's not going to do it. It's not going to get what we need. So for it to be worth a crap and not look like shit, it's about $4,000. And right now, that's not an option because I have someone in my life that needs a surgery. And I got some things going on too. Not going to talk about it or whatever because I don't know yet, but the doctors I'm going to have to. So, yeah, money is what it is. It doesn't grow on trees. And unfortunately, in this evil world, they've built a system where you need it. And I haven't always had it, But I've helped a lot of people because we want to build an organization or like a fund or group or whatever to help people, listeners of the show who are in need. And we would like to do something like that, like a charity, something. So we could give a certain percentage to that to make it there for people, the paratroopers, And a lot of people are suffering right now. A lot of people are suffering. People are losing their houses. They're losing their apartments. There's a lot more people that are out sleeping in the parking lots where we go. And they're not the normal, this run-of-the-mill, mentally deranged, sick, crazy, homeless, tribal Mad Max people. They're actual people who are struggling. One of the things I wanted to talk about before we go, there was a woman, and I don't know how much time you have. Do you need to jump off, Juan?
You know what? Yeah, I'm looking at my daughter over there. I got to prepare some stuff. It's been delightful. Mm-hmm. And, I support you. I'm on board. I want to find more about the mysteries. But, I've renounced looking for Dogman. Just whatever comes at me, I'm ready. but I'm at peace.
Yeah. Looking for it and going out in the field and looking for it is really a dangerous proposition because they can be in a spiritual form and they can attach themselves. There are people who I know who have gone out into certain areas looking for Dogman and it comes into their house.
Oh.
And
Well,
it's
I've been
not the way you
fortunate.
think it is. I mean, you know. So, yeah. I'm going to let you run then, dude. We're going to let him run and then we're going to finish up over here.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Juan.
Thank you for
It was
reiterating
an
that
honor.
story. It was
Yeah,
important.
Well,
you
thank
did a
you.
great job.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you. I'm not good with electronics, so I'm going to hit that stop video button. Is that the one I need to hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I'll listen to you pretty soon.
All right.
Thanks.
Adios.
All right.
Have a good
Appreciate
night.
you.
See you, brother.
Good night.
I got to drink this whole thing. It is nasty. Sorry for talking about other things, you know, economics and fighting. People tend to get upset about that. They're like, he's not telling stories. Talking about he's tough and blah, blah, blah. Let's still ignore the videos we post about it too. They're like, oh, he can't do none of that. There's literally videos of it. Literally. Just go look. And they're just like, no. One guy said, I'm not going to go do that. I don't look at Facebook. I'm like, okay. Well, my friend has a YouTube that he's got some of the videos he's been putting up there. And some of them we got to be careful with because they're people that we don't have permission to show. So we got to be careful with that. But yeah, I hope we don't get a copyright strike because it's got that music on there on Deuce's video. But go look at that. Go look at this video. It's on my Facebook, and it's the trailer for the show. And that guy, I've known him for years. Known him for like 15 years. And so, you know, these are real people. You know, you have no idea if you haven't lived it or if you haven't been there. You don't know. There's a reason why Gaetano wants to do a film on me. And I'm not saying that like a bragging thing, but I don't know how much I'm willing to give of myself for that. Because then it gets to a point where people are going to say, well, it's self-aggrandizement. But I'm trying to drive the point home that I'm a real person, that I'm being honest with you. And I know that when I leave, if I were to leave today, God forbid, but I've lived a full life.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling Jack the other day, he's a good friend of mine. I was telling him, I said, dude, if I were to pass, you know, I told him a couple months ago, we were talking about all this crap. And I said, I've already lived enough for 5 men. How many people can say that they've been to Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, South America, well, Central America? How many people can say that? They've been to Africa. They've done the things I've done or been where I've been and met the people I've met and know people that, you know. How many people have been able to live that life? There's not that many that can say that. They can say that, but it's not true. You know, I've met some people, man, and I've been around the block. And I've engaged in physical confrontations with a lot of people. And not many people could do much. They can't. And you get this hate, you know, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Oh, yeah. Whose ass have you kicked? You could do this and you could do that. Bullshit. Because when you meet me in person and it starts happening, you're going to be like Tyson says, yeah, you had a plan until you got hit. What's your plan now? You'll be sprawled out. The one guy, he was up there smoking cigarettes and looked like he ate 8 cheeseburgers a day, and he was talking about beating me up. I'm like, dude, stop smoking. If you want even a sliver of a chance with someone like me or any of my cohorts, stop smoking. And then this fool had the nerve to talk about he was going to take me deep into different rounds of stuff. How are you going to take me in? You're smoking cigarettes, dude. I don't give a crap what you think. Okay? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Thomas Dove says, gotta go, love, peace, everyone. Tomorrow, give an honest compliment to a stranger. That's a good thing to say. Let's do that. Let's do that. Thank you for that, bringing me back into the positive. Fight is part of my life. It's just what I did at one time. It's not who I am now. But once you're that, you're always that. So I'm going to tell you something. There was a woman, and I'm going to give a little teaser here, and we're going to talk about her story. We didn't really have a lot of time. We got to run pretty soon. But there was a woman named Gloria who reached out to us, and she gave us permission to say her last name. Should we? Last name? No,
Probably not.
probably not. And I gotta say last name because people might go and who knows what might happen. Hey, Philip, what's going on, man? And honestly, Philip, I would have loved to have you in the studio, but this studio's dirty. I didn't want to offend your wife. Honestly,
Yeah.
it is messed up, dude. Because a bunch of the contractors came in here. I'm not making excuses for us, but they knocked that crap all over the place.
Yeah.
And this stuff came up missing too, which was really frustrating. I don't know who did it, but there's stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the other side of that. This just inside that. How did that even happen? I thought a poltergeist came in here.
Yeah.
I said, "What is this?" And the bathroom, I blame Tony. Is this is easier than taking responsibility for myself? Tony's like, yeah, it was me. Actually, Tony and you are not very dirty people.
Nah.
You know, until it comes to this bathroom, for whatever reason. The bathrooms at home don't look like that, but this one is just destroyed. I'm like, come on, man, let's just you know, I got to use the bathroom here too. But we have a nice place. It's a nice place up here, and our landlords are nice people. They're good Christian people, real Christian people, not just pretending. And they're very lenient with us. They're very nice. My neighbor is my lawyer. One of them. It's convenient. He's a good guy. He's an older guy. He's getting up there in years. I like him a lot. He's helped me sue some people, you know. But you know, what we got going on is this woman. She reaches out to me, and she had heard Juan's story. Well, she didn't. It's not like she heard it and then reached out to me. She reached out to me after the Joel thing dropped. If y'all don't know what that is, that's the Vampire Confessions. Go check it out. We also had a live we did called the Werewolf Confessions. So if you go and listen to those shows, okay, and she was listening to those, she's a listener of the show, and she says, I have a story to tell you. And she began telling me about this state park nightmare that happened to her. And I said, where was this at? She goes, well, I'd rather not say. And I was like, because you'll talk about it on the show. And so after a couple different conversations, brief conversations, she says, you know what? I prayed about it. I thought about it. You can use my name. Say my last name too. And I said, no. I said, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And so she gave me permission to use her name. I'm just going to say her first name is Gloria. Her and her husband, they're from West Texas. And they came into Austin area and they stayed at the same national park or state park that Juan Arturo Mata did. And she was floored by what I said, go back and listen to those episodes. I sent her the link, and she called me like later that day. I couldn't answer because there's something is buffering. So she called me later, and I couldn't answer, but then I finally got back to her, and I said, look, we need to set up a time we can talk. So I interviewed her, and we talked. She does have a condition, which she gave me permission to say, but she has a condition, but I'm not going to say it. And she can't, when she talks, it's kind of, it's a debilitating illness, put it that way. And she's getting up there in years. She's 77 years old. But she said, you know, about 20 years ago, which would have been literally 2004, she went out there and they had a horrific thing that happened to them. Now, if you guys will give me $50 in donations, I'll continue. Until then, I'm going to sit here.
Just start playing the Jeopardy music.
I don't care. I can sit here all day. I don't give a damn. Actually, I'm lying. I got to go to do patrol, so I don't have much time. I'm kidding, folks. Look, here it is. So if you haven't joined the memberships or whatever, we're about to do the giveaways. We're going to give away to some people. So if you want to be a member and have your name in green, then you will be allowed to be whatever. And I'm only doing that. There's going to be a members giveaway all week in May, which is going to be, we're going to do these Monday things or whatever. But then Sunday, we're going to do either the giveaway on Sunday or Monday, depending on what we got. We got another interview to do next week. We're going to interview a guy about some weird stuff south of Austin. right? And then we're going to do this again on Sunday. We're going to do the giveaway. But I think we should do it on Fridays when we have Abe and Monica and Joe on.
Yeah.
Because Saturdays will be on Rumble. And I know we're going to lose money on Rumble because people don't know how to donate or whatever. I don't care. We're doing this because we need to be able to, and if you're on the Patreon right now, we're doing massive stuff. We're giving you a lot of stuff if you're a Patreon, depending on what you did it, right? 4 books?
Yeah.
$50 tier? Yeah. You get 4 books and a shirt and a hat and all kinds. You get all kinds of stuff. It's a good thing. Good deal. Go join. So here what we're doing, we don't want to put things behind a paywall. But that requires monetary investment from people, but to be able to do the show, whatever. And people think it's as simple as just, oh, you know what? You just sit behind a desk and you do whatever you do, blah, 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 blah. That's not how it works. We have to do editing on the show, on those podcast episodes, and we have to spend a lot of time up here. And it eats into our time. We're paying someone right now to do the patrol right now till we can get done and we can go and relieve him. And this is the guy's day off. He's off on Monday and Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to pay that guy. And we can't put him over drive through that one account where we had the altercation last night because he'd been ambushed by those people. You don't know who they are, what the hell was going on. So I told him, stay away from him. We'll deal with it. And we will. So this is what we do. This is how we're dealing with it. So we, have to put every penny we got from the show goes right back into the show. It just keeps on going. Hey, Abe. Abe is Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. And he says, maintain a love foundation. Please do that. That is a very good thing. That's something that Abe has taught me. Dealing and working with Abe has been a big, it's been a big one. He's been a big help.
Yeah.
So, and I've learned from watching that man. He's learned from me. I've learned from him. But here's the thing. We don't want to cut anybody out. We don't want to cut anybody out at all. We want everybody to be able to be a member or whatever. So if you want to help people out, you can gift them or whatever. Adam Paulson says that's Eazy-E's hat. Was it? Is it? I don't know. So, yeah, go check out his show. He comes on late at night. He's a night owl. He does the nighttime thing. He's the night shift. Abe Seas. So we want to do the giveaway, but what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Gloria's encounter real soon. We're going to put it on a podcast episode, or we're going to do it. We're going to figure it out. We also think that maybe we need to get all these other ones out into a podcast episode, but we are not able to do much editing right now because we're working. And the shifts, the patrol shifts are 10 hours. So Tony's working 12-hour shifts. Me and Anthony are both working 10s. So can you imagine that, folks? I get out of here at midnight or whatever. I got to go and I got to work till like 8 in the morning. And I got if somebody else has to get paid for that until I can get started. So I'm paying someone to do my job. And so that's the problem right there. And so it's not that simple. It's not as simple as just doing whatever. And then you got to pay for the equipment. You got to pay for the electricity. And a lot of YouTubers and podcasters, when they get started in this, they'll message me. And they'll be like, I had no idea what an investment it was. If you want to make it worth a crap, So I'm hoping that Abe gets bigger, blows up, and gets, starts getting some donations and whatever, so he can get bigger in his channel, get better equipment, because I want to help him. Just like I wanted to help Bettina, but she told me she didn't know if she was going to keep doing it. So she was like, nah. And she's a very honest person. She's just like, nah, you don't got to help me with that because I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this. She could have just been like, yeah, help me with the computer, and because I helped another guy with the computer and he didn't do nothing. He just jerked me around. And literally helped him with the phone and everything else. And then he's just saying, yeah, I don't know, what. I'm not gonna say his name. A lot of people in this community think he's a nice guy. He's not. He don't say nothing about me. I don't say nothing about him. So I'll wait until he says something. But this other lady, this crazy witch, talking about my wife and all this stuff, talking about me. You can talk about me all you want, lady. I don't give a damn. Everybody knows you're insane. You're nuts. Go hang out with Janice the Hutt. We don't give a crap. You want to make up some more stuff? Who cares? I called you a bitch, lady. I don't give a damn because you are. You're a horrible person. You're a very mean, nasty individual. That's what you are. You say and do crazy things, and you like Barry, the roofer guy. You insert yourself in people's lives that you don't belong. You don't belong. Nobody said for you to get involved. Don't be getting involved in people's lives. Why don't you just back off and leave people the hell alone? Right? Do that. So here we're going to do, you want to do the wheel? You want to spin the wheel?
Well, we got to do it a little bit differently. So right now, I'm going to change the chat to members only.
For just a second, right?
Yeah, just because the giveaway's for the members. So I'm going to try and change the chat to members only. I think. All right, hang on 1 second. I got to get behind a computer.
Also, he's not going to tell you, but pray for Anthony because his back is messed the F up. He was having a hard time getting in and out of the patrol last night. And I was just like very unsympathetic. I'm like, I don't give a damn. That's your problem. What are you telling me? I'm in the SUV, dude. Kidding. I did not. Yeah. I did not do that.
Well, that's what I do to you, so you had to do it to me.
Well, you do it to me because you're mean and I'm not a mean, nasty person.
No, I'm just saying I understand and respect a no quarter asked or given.
What is this? No quarter ass. Whoa, look at those donations. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, that's one from A, baby. You didn't have to do that, man. I'm trying to help you, brother. And Jake Ace, thank you for that. Jake is another one. Great guy, Jake. Definitely enter Jake into the drawing here.
Okay,
Jake,
so
got anything from us? Because I just throw you in automatically, brother.
Okay, so everyone watching right now, if you're not a member, the chat has been temporarily disabled for you. Everyone who can chat, please leave a message saying whatever. Just so we have a list of names to choose from, because this giveaway is for y'all specifically.
We'll start with people who haven't won yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're a member...
Doesn't mean you won't be able to in the future, though, if you have, even if you have. This is for the members because we needed to do something for the members, and all my allies and friends do stuff for their members, and they kept telling me you need to do something, so this is what we're doing. If you're not part of the member, don't run away. We still love you. Okay?
All right, so if you haven't won yet, then leave a comment saying that. That's all you got to do. And then we'll
Jamie
choose from y'all.
Brinson says I haven't won yet. There you go. That's my pick right there, Jamie.
Okay.
Jamie, what if you want a shirt, you can pick a shirt or a hat. Okay? So what you need to do is just tell me what you want. If you got the shirt size, I'll give it to you, and then if you don't, that's it. Now your turn, Andy. You pick.
I'm just gonna JG72.
JG72 says
Yeah.
I haven't won yet.
That profile picture just kind of caught my eye. So
What is the profile picture?
I think it's the
devil?
not Deadpool, but
What is that?
what's the DC guy? But he's not Deadpool. But
Oh, I know you're talking
the
about.
guy with the swords.
Is that? I know you're talking about.
God, what is that guy's name? Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
JG72. I said the devil. I'm joking, I don't know. I just figured he's so weird. He probably is attracted to the devil or something. I don't know what he's doing. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with y'all. So okay, so new and haven't won. Paula's new. Okay, so we'll pick one more. Bull Shizzle, $10. Much respect, guys. You work. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Who do we got that needs to win something here? Cowboy 4572 says I haven't won yet. How about that, Cowboy? I'm a Raiders fan. Cowboys, Bucks, and Texans, my 4 teams. You got more teams, more chances to win, right? I love them. Now that they're in Vegas, I love the Raiders. I've always loved the Raiders. Black Sunday, Marcus Allen running with the. How could you not love the Raiders? I love the Raiders, but they just don't win. We're supposed to just win, baby, like Al Davis said, and they just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can't help it. So those are our picks. So what you got to do so that we can get your stuff out is you're going to have to send us your information through the Patreon, not the Patreon. Patreon's a whole different animal. Paranormal Roundtable, Josh Turner at PRTpodcast.com. Josh Turner at PRTpodcast.com. Send me your information. Y'all 3 are the winners for tonight. We're going to pick 3 more, and it's going to go on every Sunday or Monday, depending on what we do. And thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you so much. Jake Ace and Bull Shizzle just came through. Thank you to everybody who gave to donate to help out with the show. There's also a link at the top. You can just go there and you can donate there. And that's another great way to support the show. Going on the store, the Paranormal Roundtable store, is another great way to support the show. But you can get shirts through us on the giveaway that you cannot get through the Paranormal Roundtable store. So that's how it goes. So you have a choice, a hat or a shirt today. That's what you can do. You will get a hurt or a I was going to say a hurt or a shat. You get a hurt or a shat. You want a hurt or you want a shat? It's up to you. It's your choice, brother. All right? So that's what we got here. And so remember, we're gonna drop a podcast episode. It's either gonna be Wednesday or Thursday. We're gonna try, and we're gonna do it. And it's gonna go in tandem with this one. It's Gloria's encounter. I'm ready to go. Carlos's story is ready to go. That was I'd say Avery's, the most recent, was very So, folks, I'm going to tell you something. If you're still in the chat right now, I had a dream about that Black Pyramid. I did it again today. I did it.
Wait, so are we done with the giveaway?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to change the chat back to all the subscribers can chat.
I had another dream, and it was about that freaking pyramid. But I don't want to say that it means anything more than I've been talking about it, and that's probably what it is. It's probably not anything, epic. We've been talking about it. So that, the dreams came from that. Who knows?
Yeah.
But.
Well, I mean, I dreamt about that thing before I even heard of it from that story.
What? You didn't tell me that.
Yeah. I've said that before. I've said it on the show. Pretty sure.
That you dreamed of the Black Pyramid of Denali Mountain?
No. Well, I mean, a Black Pyramid. I don't know where it was. It was underground.
What?
You
said that on the show?
I'm pretty sure I have at some point. And then I told you and Nelly independently. I mean, it was just a dream, but it was like, I don't know, it was a unique one. It was something like, I can't put my finger on it. There's something strange about it. I mean, it's strange, but even for a dream, it felt different. It was weird.
Also, too, if you are a mod for us, just send me your information and ask for something. You got it. Okay, I'm not gonna. What in the heck is going on here? I'm not gonna deny you. You want a shirt, a hat, whatever, a book. You're mods. You do what you do, and you help us. We appreciate that. Larry Maloro says, "Hey Wolf, the Rumble episode was killer. It was everything I expected it to be. I hope it's just gonna get better because we're gonna talk and be able to talk freely about things that need to be said." Jojo says, I think the postage is too much to Australia. I might be able to see if I can maybe talk to Paul Wallace and maybe he'll mail you one of his books because I got Paul Sinclair and Deborah Hatswell that are willing to ship the books for me in England, the British Isles. We have a ton of fans in Australia and the British Isles. The last few times that we have had the book sales come through, they have been people who have bought my book in Hong Kong and Taiwan and Japan.
That's awesome.
And a couple in South Korea. Who would have thought there's people living over there that would want to be hearing about my work? It's unbelievable. I think, though, too, we have gone international and have, like we say, we've gone international now. You know what I'm saying? We've retold people's encounters, their stories internationally. So, that's interesting that people are now starting to pick up on that. And that's a good thing. We really want to be globally available to people. You know what I'm going to do for you, Jojo? You get with me, and we will send you $50 from the donations that we made tonight. I'll send it to you, and you use that to buy yourself something from the PRT. Right?
From the store, yeah.
From the store. Yep. We'll do that for you. Okay? So, I don't want anybody left behind. Everybody, Coronado Mall, it's my buddy's collectible store. We have lots of vintage figures. And that sounds good. I haven't been to Albuquerque in a few years. I know somebody who has, though. Bugs Bunny. He's always talking about that left turn to Albuquerque. He always says that. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, as a kid, I was always like, why don't he figure that out? Like, what's wrong with this dude? He's got the worst sense of direction of any rabbit I've ever seen. But he was always one of my heroes. He was always just like, he was the first troll.
Yeah. Oh,
He was
yeah,
clowning people. They'd be chasing him, and next thing you know, he's chasing them.
Yeah.
And then they're mad. They're like, ooh. You know, that's why I love Bugs Bunny wearing his stuff, because it's like, dude, that's what I am. That's what it bugs you. It bugs the hell out of you because you can't do nothing. So, yeah, Madeline says, love Bugs Bunny. Yeah, me too. He was my favorite. Just, you couldn't stop him. He was just so... Like I said, Bugs was smooth. Yeah, and Mr. J, exactly. He was smooth like Vader, you know?
Yeah.
They're always trying to get over on Vader, and Vader always had the answer to them, you know? I find your lack of faith disturbing, bitch, you know? And he would just choke the shit out of them, you know? That's what you get. That's what you get. Come hard. William Bedard, much love and respect all. Thank you, William, for that. You know, and I'm sorry for because I get a little carried away. I have a potty mouth at times. I try not to, but on Rumble, I cut loose, said too many F-bombs. My wife got onto me. She did. She got on me. She said, you too much of that. Don't do that. She's always like the good one. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, I'll just take responsibility right now. It was me. Just said that to you. Crazy lady. You want to be crazy? Say all things. I'm going to post all the little nasty things she's saying about me on her thing. You think that that's hurting me, the crap you said? My dad and my stepmother had me committed. No, they didn't have me committed. It was a treatment center because they wanted me to say that what I saw I didn't see, when there were 5 people that saw it too. Okay? So a big hello to you. I'm not going to say it. All right? Nellie's not the one that was cussing you. I am. I don't give a shit. Do what you got to do. I don't care. You cuss me, I cuss you out. Who cares? You think you're hurting me? You want to play around and play games? Right? You've been a cancer in this field for a long time, and so is your buddy, the roofer guy. That's why you're best friends. You actually came up with that plan together because as soon as stuff popped off, you were right there ready to strike. Ready to strike and tried to get me and Justin Decker into an argument. You know, it's not going to work. And you violated a cease and desist, so good luck to you. Good luck to you. Keep it up. I just hope that you, Perry, do the same thing, Mr. Barry, Jerry, whatever Airy you want to call yourself. Come on. Do it too. Say something. You dumbasses. You know what? You know who you are. I'm not going to say your name, but you know who you are. It's funny. It's funny to me watching you spin your tires like some idiot that got stuck in the mud that doesn't have a four-wheel drive. You let it overload your ass, your mouth. That's what happened. You love to say things, but there's a price to be paid for everything you do. Mark my words. Folks, I love you. The paratroopers, you're awesome. We're working on a song that is a paratrooper anthem for you, the listeners, right? Here's my reptilian bulldog face. Let me roll my eyes back. Does that scare you? Am I scaring you? Are you scared? Look at my eyes shifting around all slippery and shit.
There's a clip for y'all to use.
Get in there and do it. Do what you got to do. I saw him change. He turned into a lizard right there on the TV. The man is evil. Let's watch The Exorcist and the Emperor from Star Wars. You want to see some pictures? Of course you do. There's some people that are unalived and ate. So, yeah, whatever. These people are ridiculous. So anyways, folks, thanks for tuning in. It was great. My apologies to my colleagues that were on today. Truth, I guess, was on. I didn't know he was on today. Hellbent Holler, I didn't mean to take anything from you. If I did, text, I'm sorry, but I got things I got to do, man. I do. I just have things I got to do. I will try next week to do it at a different time so we don't offend anybody. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or get anybody to get it twisted. Thank you, William, for that. He said, I can't imagine the stuff you've been through, Josh. Yeah, it takes a big imagination. This is, but you are a warrior here doing your thing. Mad respect. Love you too, Anthony. Thank you. And that 50 will go to you, Jojo. Just say the word. Let me know. Give me your information. I'll send it to you. $50. You go and you buy yourself something. You hear me, Jojo? Jojo says, well, thanks, William. William, you just paid for Jojo to get something over there in Australia. The store will ship to anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But when we come out with the new line, The spring line, folks. It's almost over. Fashion. I think fashion's so stupid. They come out with wearing like trash cans on their head, blenders taped to their titties. What is this? What are you doing? What's wrong with you?
It's got to be connected to money laundering
Wearing
somehow.
some kind of trash around their necks or whatever. Wearing something on their ear that looks like this. With this hanging off of it. Look at this. This is what they do right here. Look at this, folks. Look at the new fashion. They wear this on their nose. Everybody's going to love this. This is, and let's put garbage bags on ourselves. Because we got the retardation. It says, I am your humble student. Pray for your protection every night. Love PRT. Just can't sleep unless I listen to you. Thank you, Alexander. Appreciate that. But don't, you don't need to be my humble student. Just show up and listen. A huge tapestry to hang on my wall. Brett, what do you need? You know what I thought would be really cool? And we have a lot of great artists that are involved that are friends of the show that do really good work. So I was thinking about a picture that we could get Sibylla to commission her to draw a couple really cool pictures and get her to sign them. And we could do them as giveaways. And one of them I thought would be cool would be all the different cryptids sitting around, like the dogs playing poker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Have like Mothman, Dogman, Bigfoot, and who else? The Rake.
Yeah.
They're all playing poker. What do you think? What do you think of that?
I think that'd be funny.
I think that would be cool. It'd be a cool, and we could do it a giveaway. Because I just want to give away stuff. I want to help people. I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy and be happy. And even folks, let me say this worst case scenario, I die. They ain't going to kill me. It's not, my body's gone. Oh, well, you still have me. I'm still here talking to you. You ever see those movies where they're like, if you're watching this, I'm already dead. It sucks. But listen to what I got to tell you. And then that's it. And just keep playing my stuff on repeat. Just, keep playing. They'll be so mad. They'll be like, he's dead. We killed him. Why? Why is he still telling the truth? He needs to go away. He said he was going to go away. Leave us liars alone. We've binded together to be frauds. And if you all together have 100 lies and you put them all together in a big box, a big circle, whatever you want to call it, what do you have? Just a big lie. Just a bunch of frauds. That's all you are. That's all you'll ever be. Just a big bunch of fake frauds rolling down the street. Yeah, that's all you are. And all I need to do is tell one truth. You are liars. You're a fraud. And you're all fake. All this prestidigitation, going on. Like the sleight of hand, that's what they're doing. Like, it's distracting you. Turn your channel into the Josh Turner channel. I appreciate that. The man from Oklahoma has brought several people to me lately. They're like, yeah, I was watching this guy, and he just talks about you nonstop. Literally, this Ike, I'm giving you some advice. Just shut up. The reason I haven't... My hand to any holy book on earth, dude. I could have gave you cease and desist a long time ago, but you're doing more damage to yourself than you're... Anthony told me not to even say this, didn't you? Mm-hmm. I'm saying it right now because I'm trying to be nice, and I'm gloating too. But you did. You brought a lot of people to us. And thank you for that, because all your stupid talk has got people flocking over here. They're like, man, that guy was like sitting in a trailer or something in the dark. What is he doing? Like, and he just like, the spewing of the hate and the venom and the shaking of the tuchus. Everything you're doing is bringing stuff to, you're helping us, right? At this point, you're doing more harm to yourself than good, and I'm applauding you for that. Keep it up. Every day, talk about me. Every day. Every day. Every day. Just keep it going. Because this is a perfect example of bad press being good. Because nobody believes your bullshit anyway, but you're 10 people that show up to watch you, and the rest are all fake people. But yeah, keep doing it. And talk about Abe. He talks about Abe, too, and Bettina. Yeah, give us the views. Come on. Give us the views. We love it. You are the butt of the joke, my friend. Sitting around in your dirty trailer, eating Hot Pockets and, I don't know, canned corn or whatever it is you eat, stealing people's money. Do what you got to do, man. You're doing a lot to help us. right? You're doing a lot to help us. You're not hurting us. Sitting around talking all this crazy stuff. People come over and they look and they're like, that guy, he's got a good show. This one guy messaged me. Shout out to Aaron. I don't know your last name. Aaron has a, whatever your number designation, Aaron 77 or whatever. And you said, hey, you got a good show. I found you through, that guy's channel. And I'm like, wow. That was awesome. That made my day. That was last Tuesday. That made my Tuesday. It was incredible. I felt so warm and fuzzy all day because you told me that. And he's like, dude, and he goes, I couldn't look at this guy. He goes, and then when I heard him called Oyster Mouth, I knew exactly who you were talking about. I was like, yeah, it's weird. So then we were laughing all day long. Just, dude, he gave us the J. Cuban cucarachas. Yeah, exactly. It's incredible, this guy's helped us so much. Just keep it coming, man. Keep talking because that's what we want. That's what we want you to do, and you're doing it. I'm kind of sad though. We're gonna have to put the cease and desist on you because that sucks. Because you just won't stop. But if it was up to me, it's not up to me though. Totally, it's other people involved. But if it was up to me, I'd leave you, let you just wind you up, let you keep going because you're doing great. You are bringing us people, brother. My sub count's going back up because they've released us from all y'all's nonsense, the mass reporting. It's not working. It's not working. You had us down to 460 something. Now we're back up to 525. Thank you. Yeah, because now they're on to you. They know that you're doing it. Well, keep it up. Keep it going. And when somebody drops a donation, you shit yourself. You're so mad about that. Why not me? Because you suck. It's as simple as that. It's a simple formula. Do real work. But you guys don't believe in real work. You don't believe in hard work. You don't believe in it at all. No. And he said, William Bedard, thank you for that donation. You are correct. Please take this, Benjamin, and get some rest. We need you healthy, Josh. Anthony, too. I'm in Georgia. It's 12:20 a.m. here. What is your time?
It's 11:20 here.
And you're right. And on that note, I do need to get out of here because...
Yeah, actually, we just got a noise complaint on one of the properties.
Yeah, we got to get going. We love you, though, folks, and I love to sit up here and talk, and I love to bring you the stories. We're going to do it. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. You're going to be overwhelmed with information. Start paying attention really closely, right? If you want somebody to entertain you overnight, go to Abe, Spiritual Encrypted Encounters.
Oh, yeah.
Go listen to him. He doesn't get a lot of people on the chat, but he gets a lot of people on the replay because he's the night guy. Because Coast to Coast just used to be hot. Now it's like, it's like whatever, man. But I'm not going to say anything because it might be, but just trust me. Go check out Abe. He's got a lot of good stuff going on. Sometimes I'm in there moderating. Sometimes I'm not. It just depends. So, folks, thank you for everything that y'all have done. Thank you for making PRT what it is. You're the audience. That's what matters, man. That's what matters. It's all that matters. All right. We love you. We got to go. Good night.